So I like to like DJ, I like to produce progressive house music, stuff like that on the side, but it's more of just like a little side hobby. In 2019, I was close to closing down my company.
6.9 million views and you $46,000.
It was like, how could I build a company that would stand on its own two legs without me?
I carry Mentos with me, so if I ever get like the clumpy feeling in my throat, I'll chew on Mentos. And I also just listen to good music. Like I listen to certain music that's kind of like, you know, putting yourself as the main character kind of music. And it's like, you know, if I'm the main character, you know, I'm not going to fail. So...
But it's being able to go to these mentors and be like, hey, I have this idea. Does this make sense? Because if you're in the weeds, these are the people that can kind of lift you out of the weeds and tell you like, hey, get rid of that brain fog, get out of these weeds. Like you've gone too deep, pull yourself out and like, let's take a step back and look at it again.
My final one would be I survived 100 days in Breaking Bad. Alright lads, welcome back to InsideMC, podcast where I sit down with a very special guest every single week. And this week, for the return for InsideMC, I'm joined with someone very, very cool, someone very amazing who has been around in the game for a very long time, and someone I've wanted to talk to for a very long time, so I'm very honoured. I'm very honoured to be in this call right now. I am joined with the one, the only, Ryguyrocky.
Hello, hello.
A big intro full of compliments there for you, though, so, you know.
Thank you. I appreciated the kind words, honestly, made me feel special.
It is true though, like it is genuinely true. You've been around in the game for such a long time. I mean, only recently, back on April 19th, so not even a month ago. When does this podcast come out? This podcast comes out on May 10th, so in under a month ago, you celebrated your 15 years on YouTube.
Yeah, it is kind of weird to think about, right? Like it's something I did in my bedroom as a teenager, and now it's like my world, my everything. You know what I mean? It's weird.
Without trying to snoop for your age here, don't worry. I'm not going to ask directly, at least. When did you start YouTube? Was it 15 years ago, or did you have something before then, or was Ryguyrocky your first shot at it?
Ryguyrocky wasn't my first, no. I had a first channel back in, I have no idea when the first one was made, to be honest. There's no way I can really check, because I don't have access to it anymore, so I have no idea when the channel came out. But it's a really old channel. It's called Halo Man 11251995. It only has like 5 videos on it. Oh, it's if you actually look that up, you're in for a treat. And I'm probably doomed.
So Halo Man.
Yep. 1125 1995.
1995. Respect for you remembering it, like.
That's my birthday, so it's not hard.
Okay, well, I just snooped to your age without asking. Secret video never seen. Big mouth. Oh god. So okay, well, wait. These like for some bizarre reason it has like, so I have like vidIQ, which isn't really all that helpful. It's just I just have it on my PC.
Yeah.
Your first 2 videos have like 100 times next to them on vidIQ.
That's funny. Yo, they're popping off.
One of the Big Mouth has 6.7k views. You're big time now. Holy.
People found out about that channel like a few years ago because a friend of mine who's a YouTuber tweeted out about it. So it's had traction a few times, mostly because of what I do now, not because it had anything back.
I have a channel. I used to have a channel as well from 10 years ago. My one. Boy Gamer 909.
That's a name right there.
I uploaded 2 videos, and the second one was the Hive Xbox 360, and so I turn 21 tomorrow after recording this actually. And this video came out on the 1st of Feb 2014. So I would have been, oh my god, I would have been 10 years old when I uploaded this video. Oh my.
It's really weird to think that 1 year after you released that video, that's around the time I went full time. So that's like kind of weird that was like your 10 years ago.
But then it's compared to your like 15 years ago, right? Or even like
on Ryguyrocky. Yeah. When is the first video on Halo Man? I actually don't.
I've just lost it. Oh no, I clicked off. It was like 11
I got
years
it right
ago,
here.
No, it was 15 years ago. It was 15 years ago, I said.
Oh, so this was actually around the same time.
Because your oldest videos on Ryguyrocky is 11 years ago. So you must have like done YouTube and then, you know, privated or deleted the videos, which I've done on InsideMC. I think everyone's deleted a good few old videos.
Yeah, it must have been. Because that channel I used to upload like RuneScape on back in the day, but I have no idea where the content is, so it's probably deleted.
I uploaded a Fortnite montage on my one back in like 2016, but I didn't officially take it like start actually doing YouTube until 2020 when I left secondary school. I got bullied really bad.
Had an Inside Fortnite podcast?
If you want to make this Inside, it would have been Inside FN technically.
That's true.
The good thing about InsideMC, Ryguyrocky, and I'm trying to promote this more as well, is we're moving away from it just being Minecraft. It's branded Inside Minecraft, Minecraft. That's the whole gimmick now. It's like it's the animation and the thing is inside Minecraft.
Sure.
But we're trying to branch out who we talk to now, which is kind of interesting. So
maybe that makes sense. As long as you're talking, as long as you're talking inside Minecraft. I mean, that's the name of the show.
Exactly. We can talk about anything as long as our characters are in Minecraft. I mean, it's like Spotify, right? You can't actually see people. If you find it on Spotify, I could be talking to anyone. It doesn't matter. Inside MC could mean anything if you don't know it's Minecraft. Inside McDonald's, we could be sitting inside. Actually, we probably shouldn't. But if
that would be so funny.
We kind of got sidetracked there. I always like to give the intro for you to promote yourself. Obviously, this is a good start. We're just waffling away, and I hate to cut short because there's a lot more that I want to talk about regarding that. So we'll get back into it. But I always like to give the intro anyways for you to let people know who you are. Obviously, I did this big intro. We had a little talk there. But who are you? What do you do? If you have a fun fact for us, and you can't use the fact that your channel's 15 years old because I already mentioned that. Anything else?
I mean, okay, yeah. So I'm Ryguyrocky. Obviously, I've been a YouTuber for 15 years. This has been my everything. I mean, I basically grew up dreaming to become a YouTuber. Grew up, in fact, one of the past Inside MC guests, Captain Sparkles, grew up dreaming about like his life. And I remember in high school being like, I wish I could live like that. And I just kept grinding away at Minecraft, turned it into my job, and I've sustained it now for a long time, which is really weird to think about. But a weird fact about me or a fun fact about me would probably be like, it's not really like I guess it's still a fun fact. I'm into like music production. So I like to like DJ, I like to produce progressive house music, stuff like that on the side, but it's more of just like a little side hobby.
That's interesting though. That's really cool actually, the whole music thing. I mean, do you have anything like, I know you did a parody back in the day, Warfare, right? Yeah. Is that, I'm literally looking at it. Why have I said right? I'm literally looking at it right now. You did that. I mean, do you have anything like, you don't have a channel for it as far as I'm aware. I mean, I couldn't find anything if you do.
I'm not as confident in my music production, right? So it's like with videos and like producing a YouTube video, I know how to make a good video. Like you get to the point where like you start to learn, okay, this is what makes a good video, and like, you know, the ebbs and flows of it. Where with music production, I just don't feel like I have that. I'm not at that level yet where I just am confident in what I'm producing. I've made a few things, but I just don't really like to release it.
That's fair. I mean, I'm a barista. I mean, I said it so much. The people who listen to the podcast, like every single one of them, are going to get so annoyed at me saying this. I'm a barista. I make coffees. Who would have thought? And at work, like I'm always telling people, like I help like do social media management and stuff like that, but I do it for my friend's podcast. I mean, he doesn't pay me much. I just do it for my friend. Like I'm never telling people that it's my podcast because it's not that I'm embarrassed. But I remember I had Akko on the podcast. I don't know if you know who they are. They're a cool creator, and I don't want to like categorize them as one thing. That's why I'm saying cool there. But they came on and they said something along the lines of like, at what point can you turn around and go like, you do this right without it being in quotation marks embarrassing? Because I'm not saying word for word there. I kind of mix it in with my own thing, but like I'm not embarrassed. I embrace it. I'd love to tell everyone that I run a podcast, but then at work it's like this thing of like, because I'm not full time or because I'm not earning full time money from it, I have to go into work and see these people every day, and they might be like, oh yeah, your podcast, like look, this one just got 1K views, and it's like I'm very proud of it, but if you're saying it like that, it's a bit like, oh, you know, and I have to come in every day and see you, and it's like gets a little bit sticky. If that makes sense.
No, it does. Like I kind of went through something similar. Like it makes a lot of sense because in high school people found out about my YouTube channel, and it became a big, at least within like my little clique, it became a big thing, which was like a lot of like music kids. I was really like friends with a lot of people in the music department at my school, and so people stopped calling me like Ryan and started calling me like, they're like, oh my god, it's Ryguyrocky, and it became this whole joke. And at first it was funny, right? But it got old really, really quick, to the point where like teachers were calling me it. Like that's how much it had started to like bubble out of like, you know, get a little out of my comfort zone where I thought it was funny. And so it started getting a little like out of hand, to the point where like anything I posted, people were always talking to me about it, wanted to, you know, and there were some that were genuinely interested, but most were, it was from a place of like, oh, this is funny, right? And I think it's unfortunate. I based on what you're saying, it really hasn't changed much now, where people are still gonna kind of, it's not only that they're looking down at what you're doing, but they don't realize that they're not being helpful in what you're doing, if that makes sense.
I think it's not a case of it being the same. I think it's just always going to be like that, because like it's like I'm trying to think of an example, but I can't. I mean, okay, one is for a period of time my dad was listening to the podcast because he wanted to be supportive, and he listened to like a good few. It's just he kind of obviously started listening to other podcasts or music stuff that's more into his kind of stuff. I mean, he's my dad, he doesn't play Minecraft, he doesn't know anything about Minecraft, he probably doesn't want to listen to podcasts about that, but he was being supportive. And if someone at work turns around and goes like, oh, like that was really cool, you got 1K views, I'm like, yeah, I thank you, but I also feel a bit uncomfortable that I'm having to come and do this when I want to do this full time. Like I'd love to do podcasts podcast or content creation. I'd love to do it full time, and it's what I'm striving to do. And I'm investing in doing it, in making that a dream. But until that happens, I have to go and face customers every day. I have to go and face my colleagues every day. And if they know about the podcast, it's like, they might be watching me grow, or if management find out, and if management find it, or sometimes I talk about work on the podcast. Like if one of them listens to the podcast and hear me chat shit, sometimes I will say stuff that like it has annoyed me. It's like, oh crap. So there's like multiple, because I like to be very open, right? I'm not really, as you can see, I talk a lot about myself, but it's kind of like I'm interviewing you, but at the same time I also want to talk about because it's at the end of the day I'm owning the podcast. But I talk a lot about stuff and how I feel and stuff, and it's like if they ever heard that, it's like, oh, maybe it could go sideways. So just multiple different factors, Yeah,
no, and that's true, right? It's something that I think unfortunately won't change, because like it's like when you're doing it part-time, I think for lack of a better way to describe it, it's like people kind of go, oh, that's cute, but then like when you're doing it full-time, people suddenly have interest because they're like,
exactly.
Oh wait,
yeah,
that's your thing, and then suddenly people take it seriously, right? Because I did notice that switch, right? Because I went full-time in 2015, there was that like switch, especially with like peers around me, where it went from them kind of doubting me to them being like, oh wait, this is really happening, right? And so no, that is weird that it happens that way, but probably it's human psychology, I'm sure.
To not like repeat myself here, but kind of just you've got the word and I wanted it goes from like, oh cute, that's like really cool, I'm proud of you, to like, oh crap, you're on the same wages as I am now, or you're earning more than me, and you're like, oh, like I feel like that's the way I'd like to put it anyways.
Yeah, no, exactly.
So, I don't want to pick you up for something you mentioned earlier, but also for the listeners, I don't want to confuse anyone. You mentioned how Captain Sparkles was a guest on the podcast. He was in the same MCC video as you. He hasn't been a guest yet. I can't confirm if he ever will be, unless you got him confused with Ant Venom, because Ant Venom was a guest on the podcast.
No, I was definitely thinking of the MCC video. I think I saw him on there and was like, oh,
thumbnail. He's on the thumbnail.
Sparkles. Well, so. Yeah. No, I did see Ant Venom. You're doing questions with him on Monday, I believe. Right?
Yeah, he just got announced actually. Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, there he goes. Hey, look, I'm on top of this.
Fair play. No, that's cool actually. That was really cool.
I knew my stuff.
But you're someone I've wanted on for a while. There's a lot of people I've wanted on, but like, I mean, you come under the OG category. As much as you're still very like, oh god, I don't want to phrase this badly to offend other people. You're still very consistent and you're very good at following trends, right? So you're still able to stick to the content that is doing well today. However, you are an OG. You have been in the game for a very long time.
It is weird to think about, because like, I don't think of myself as an OG. When I think OG, I think of Ant Venom, Captain Sparkles, that crew from like I'm sure you're familiar with like the old school Hunger Games they did back in the day.
I used to remember Cops and Robbers. Oh, I love
all
that.
of them. Like videos back in the day were just it was a different time. It was different, but that's what I consider OG. I consider myself like wave 3 or 4 within Minecraft, because it went through several iterations before I ever was able to turn it into a full-time thing.
Okay, I class you as wave 2, and I class wave 1 and wave 2 as OGs, and then wave 3 and wave 4 as like kind of bridging the gap. I don't know what wave. I think waves are over now, but like I class you as like the second, because it's 2015. I mean, like, even if you weren't predominantly thriving as this big time person, you started content in 2015. You are now where you are right now. Even if you weren't a big thing at the time, you're a big thing now. So you can look back and be like, okay, I was part of wave 2, if that makes sense.
Got you. I mean, yeah, if we're going under that, then I'd say, I would be wave 2 most likely, because I was doing content at the same time as all of them, just, on a much smaller scale.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you weren't like someone who you weren't someone at the time who everyone watched, like, Captain Sparkles or Ant Venom and stuff, but you're now someone who has thrived from being around in that time. You would have thrived anyways, but you've been able to kind of like, I mean, you still get on the Ryguyrocky channel, and I know it's not all about this, you still get a crap ton of views. I mean, like, you're still doing really, really well compared to your sub count with your view count, and it's like, how many people have been able to adapt and keep their name this relevant rather than be like, there's a lot of people, right? All of the old OG content creators, I love all their content, I watch a lot of it, I go back and watch the UHCs, that kind of jazz, right? But how many people can you look at now and be like, rather than it being I love them from a memory, to I still love their content now, and you're part of the I still love their content now category, and for me, I'm speaking on my behalf here.
I think it's just because it's reinventing, like, I don't want to take all credit, like, me and my team are really good at reinventing the wheel, at least with what we do, and it may not look like that on the service. You're like, you've done 100 days for 3 years now. What do you mean you reinvent the wheel? For people that actually watch our content, they know what we're changing in that content, right? Every video is different, and we do have a formula and we do have a system, but we do make a lot of changes throughout the year in the content to make sure it's changing. Like, if you look at our 100 days from 3 years ago, it is so different from what we do now. Like, it is night and day difference. I think they were escape rooms back, and so it's just changed a lot over time. And so now they're a lot more they get a lot of views, but now they're a lot more modded and survival based and manhunt based. So what we do now and what we do back then, even though it all looks the same, is actually very, very different as it's adapted over the years.
Just because it's the same content or the same title or the same thumbnail doesn't mean, I mean, it's like with me with the podcast, right? I mean, the thumbnails now are the exact same as when, so like the Anvenom podcast that I record on Monday is when I have the exact same thumbnail, kind of the same format as the one I recorded with him 2 years ago. However, when I look at that podcast 2 years ago, I hate it because I wasn't professional, I wasn't good, I wasn't as confident at speaking as I am now, you know, and I was worried about talking about myself too much, blah blah blah, which I know I'm doing quite a bit this podcast, but it's how I relate to you. Exact same concept, right? In 2 years I've been able to adapt and grow a lot more, and with you in 3 years of 100 days content, you've been able to do what's relevant to the year, right? So 3 years ago you were doing, okay, what worked with 100 days content in 2021, then okay, 2022 slight difference, sorry, 20, you know, I went a year earlier by accident there, but 2022, I'm just going to keep it for the sake of it. 2022, okay, things have changed a little bit. This is the type of content people enjoy. How do I innovate this into 100 days content? 2023 now, this is what's popular. How do I put this into my content? So you've done the same content, you've been able to follow what is trendy at the time, kind of thing, you know?
To be honest, you were pretty spot on. It was about annually we make a big change. So it was like 2022 is when we changed from like escape rooms to manhunts, and then we changed from about a year. 2023 was the year where we went heavy into the kind of mixing story and manhunt. So it was where we kind of mixed in, you know, characters, more little like tropes like that. And then this year we're leaning even heavier into the story and lesser into the manhunt. And with plans to eventually get rid of manhunt altogether out of these videos.
Exactly, and that's how you've been able to grow with what works. And if something happens next year and it's like, oh crap, this is really big right now in the Minecraft scene, I know for a while you're going to be able to put that into your content, and it's still the same concept. It's a completely different video to what we would have seen 2 years ago. And I think that's why like I respect everyone I bring on the podcast. I make it very clear that I only bring people on the podcast who I'd enjoy talking to, and you know, you're someone I've wanted on for a long time because I've always hopped through content. I've never really been able to settle down until now. I started off with, I mentioned it to you before the podcast, I started off with command block tutorials, and then I went into gameplay videos, and then I went into commentary, and then I went into MCCI videos, and then I'd started the podcast and then went on break because I got a night shift job, and then I came back, did the gameplay videos for MCC Island, and I said, you know what, I just want to talk and interview people. I like this. I like being able to just sit down and talk to you for an hour or 2 hours, and you know, and that's my calling. So it's like with you've been able to do it, but kind of still keep it relatively the same topic and grow your audience to, like, you know, do what you do. Whereas I've kind of hopped between, and I've always been able to leave when the going gets tough, but I finally settled down. However, I've had to start completely fresh rather than bringing my old audience along with me, whereas you've been able to kind of get them to, it's like what Radoon said on his podcast once, was the candy shop into meat, like for meat shop philosophy. Whereas like if you're constantly going into a candy shop and it suddenly swaps into a meat shop, you're not going to watch anymore. However, if they start slowly, or butcher shop, sorry, but if they start slowly kind of like, oh yeah, this is a candy store, but here, look, we offer this, we offer this, we offer this. That's what you've kind of been able to do, but very successfully, you know?
Yeah. I like that example too. Yeah, we call it dropping breadcrumbs. That's kind of the term we use.
Oh, that's good actually.
We drop breadcrumbs for the audience to slowly train them in the direction we're taking the channel. So we're already doing things like in our content right now, having like something we never did, character dialogue. So like in our Spider-Man video, we had a whole thing where Spider-Man captures Green Goblin and they have a dialogue. That was never stuff we did, right? And so it's just dropping breadcrumbs for what's to come up ahead, because we know eventually we're going to go heavier into story stuff because it's easier to film. If you want full transparency, it's just a lot easier.
You're also very like kind of linking to that with the whole breadcrumbs thing. You're very smart when it comes to content creation, as like even right now with like the whole looking at statistics and you know, I'm not gonna, I know you don't want to take full credit for it, so it's you and your team. You're all very, very good at it. But when I say you know, I'm referring to you and your team for the sake of like what the team does as well.
Sure.
It's just easier to say you rather than repeat myself. But like with your with like the whole statistics thing and stuff, with the new Spider-Man video, I came out 6 days ago, great, so you can look. That dialogue section, right? And I'm assuming you've already looked here, so you won't need to check. What was the watch time like on that? Did it dip? Did it go up? Did it stay the same?
So it did go up, but the video, we don't tend to trust it off a single video's data point, because there can be several factors of like, what's padded around that content, what was uploaded before, so as an example, we uploaded 2 videos that week, because one was a sponsored, one was a regular. And so sometimes when we do 2 in 1 week, that can affect how like viewing behavior, right? So there's a lot of factors to take into consideration. So we're going to probably test it 5 or 6 times before we make a decision.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, you can't just base something off of one thing. I was just more curious to see how it went off like first shot kind of thing. And you said it went up.
On
so
that one,
a good start.
Yeah, that one section, we didn't see a massive change, to be honest, on this one, but we're going to keep doing more testing, because that video did take a weird hit from the sponsored video, kind of like I was hinting at, and now just confirming.
That's the Dark Elf video, right? Which was the sponsored
Dark Elf
one.
was sponsored, yeah.
Yeah, that video like took a big hit compared to the other ones, which is quite interesting as well.
Yeah, it just depends what the goal of the video was, though, right? Because our goal isn't views, it's conversions. And so if we can get 300,000 people who actually will watch that video in full, it's YouTube does what YouTube does. Like, it's really, really good at finding the right people for a video. So yeah, most of my audience, which is, we estimate 700 to 1 million people per video, 700,000, aren't going to show up for a sponsored video. They're going to click off pretty quick. They're like, this is sponsored. But if you can have even just like half your audience or third of your audience stay, then you're converting off that. You're still going to get really high conversions, right? And so the views did low, but I'll say both of those sponsors were very, very happy. So it's one of those weird things where it's like views look bad, so you assume, oh, sponsor did bad, but as long as it converts, sponsors really don't care.
I think that comes under like the trust and loyalty, right? You've built yourself to such an extent where it's like I've kind of hinted at throughout the podcast. I have a good few people who will listen to the podcast just for the sake of listening. Like, they don't care who the guest is. Obviously they care who the guest is, but like they won't listen for a particular guest. They will just listen to me waffle away. And it's kind of why I try. Sorry if I'm talking about myself too much. Like I said, it's just my way of relating, and it's kind of why I do it for like the people listening to me also. But
no, I think it's fair. It's fair. Like, you want to add your input into it. Like that's the point of the conversation. I think it makes sense.
Yeah, true. Because I always advertise it as the fact that this isn't really an interview. We are just talking. We're talking about you majority, but I'm not asking you one question, you're answering, and I'm going to the next one. We're talking about your answers, which is why I love this aspect. But like I have a lot of viewers who will kind of listen, or like there's a tweet that went out last like it would have been this week from recording, so last week if you're listening to this on the day of release, and it was like a competition thing for like I hosted a tournament. I think I can't remember if I invited you to it or not. I think I did, but you weren't able to make it.
You probably did. I've been crazy busy right now, so you probably didn't.
Do you mind if I share where you were? Not what you were doing, but where you were. You was in Utah, so you couldn't make it. You were in Utah.
It's funny because I have 2 trips to Utah. Anyway, Utah's a good place. Anyway, continue forward.
But basically that tournament was like nominated among like 3 other tournaments, and I quite retweeted it like, oh, like show the podcast support, and me and like a few others, and I was really appreciative of just how many people, because we won it like I think by like there's like 180 responses to the tweet. It was like a decent amount, and we won it, and I was like, wow, like that many people are loyal enough to turn around and be like, yeah, no, we want that podcast to win. And even though they get so many different people on that podcast, it wasn't just me, it was the event as well, One Shot Royale, which is an amazing event, but the point is they were so loyal to like us too. It's like I could just do that, and that rough link back to the loyalty of the sponsorship. Although it may have done worse for views, you still had the loyal audience who were watching it and supporting you despite knowing it was a sponsored video. There you go. It took me so long to get to it, but that was the point I was trying to get at.
Yeah, no, I think that's part of it. I would also honestly argue that it's also, we made really good at like this is an area I'm going to dig in, because this is an area a lot of creators could use this advice. I'll be honest. The modern viewer today is so used to advertise, is so used to sponsors being embedded in videos. They will have a natural tendency to skip, especially on integrations and stuff, where it's like, let me take this 30-second plug in this video to plug this product, right? Like that causes so much like click off and click ahead in videos. So those ads really don't convert anymore. So what we started doing is we're like, we go to companies and we're like, let's just make you the coolest ad possible. What would that look like? What could we do? And we have these like these back and forths of like, how can we combine like what we do with what they do and really like sell it to a viewer? And our goal really is to show them games that we enjoy, because I tend to stick to app game integrations and stuff like that.
That's fair.
And when we're showing them a game we like, and that game is giving us the creative freedom to really like just lean into to our audience, because we know our audience, like these things are converting. Now, like I'm a little careful going into a crazy amount of detail because like there's a lot of NDAs with this stuff. But I'll say for like, we had one a few weeks ago. It was 100 days as an egg, and the views also are kind of low on that one. But that ad, we can say converted at a level of a channel that is usually at about like 20 million subscribers. So it was, the conversions on it were like astronomical. So, like nothing I've ever converted before ever. I wish it'd convert like that for like merchandise.
But that's just because you know what you're doing, right? You've gotten to this point of like, once again linking back to the fact that you've been in the game for so long. I mean, like, right, to put this like how I view it, you've been around for so long, and like I mentioned earlier, to kind of sound like a broken record here, you known how to hop to what's trendy at the time. You known how to stay in quotation marks relevant, right? And I think that links back to the whole ad integrations and stuff. You know what to do to keep the viewer coming back, to keep the viewer watching, to keep the viewer get through that section and carry on watching the rest of the video. And that's just built up from the 15 years of experience from you and your team.
Yeah. I think a lot of it's experience. I do think some of it is also like just, you know, a lot of trial and error and stuff like that that's gotten us here. Because, you know, I will say I might be around for a while, but I still make tons of mistakes. You know,
that's just human.
Like,
you're human.
Yeah. YouTube like is a, well, you know, I think that's, you know, a thing a lot of people don't realize though is like YouTubers are human, because like you get so caught up in the stats and the machines and the day-to-day grind of it, right, that a lot of times you forget that like sometimes you almost get like too deep in the weeds. You can't see the bigger picture, and like you can get lost in it. And like you said, that's a human thing to do. I think a lot of people like are so hard on themselves when it happens, and I'm just kind of like, it's part of the journey, if that makes sense. Like you're kind of meant to go through the weeds every once in a while, because like in 2019 I was close to closing down my company, right? Like whole everything I'm doing, because I thought I knew what I was doing. I thought I knew it all back then. I'll be honest, I had a pretty large ego back then, kind of thought I knew everything about YouTube, and let's just say my ego got checked a little bit when I could not get anything working for the life of me, and almost had to shut down everything. And then started meeting with some mentors, humbled myself down a little bit, and started meeting with people that could really teach me YouTube. And I basically went back to square one and admitted, like, maybe I don't know everything I know. Maybe my first wave was a lot of luck. So I applied what I learned in that first sort of like wave of success, relearned the basics of YouTube, and then applied it to what I've done on this kind of second wave here. And so I've been around for a while, but there's been bumps, there's been all this stuff that's kind of come up throughout the years. So I always say this because I know when people get started as a creator, it can be discouraging because you're like, oh, well, they already have millions of subs. But most people who have millions of subs have had to dig through the weeds and have gone through the dirt, and it's been tough for them as well. And there's been ebbs and flows in what they've done. And so you always got to remember, it's when people are doing great, it's easy to be like, oh man, they're so lucky, but you didn't see what they did before that or what they had to go through. So it's always good to remember that, because that way when you're going through your journey of becoming a YouTuber, whoever that might be out there, right, you're going to remember like, hey, it's normal to have these moments. It's normal to have these hardships, because I'll be honest, I didn't, and it made it a lot tougher mentally to get through those moments than it could have been if I just accepted it was part of the journey.
Yeah, when you did have the moment come,
yeah, exactly.
I think that's what I love about this so much, right? Because I mean, I've used two different things from two different talks from two different podcasts so far already, and we've only been recording for, and this won't be the length of the podcast, we've already been recording for 30 minutes. Oh my god, okay. And I feel like this is going to be a long one. As long as you're not in a rush, this is probably going to be one of my longer podcasts, right?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good.
But I've already used like two different like analogies or like conversations from other podcasts, because I've just been able to talk to different people and get different perspectives on things. And it's also, I feel like, a great place, because I have a good few content creators listen to these podcasts. Like, I'm sure a lot of people listen to this because you are, and not the only reason, but obviously you're a larger creator, so it'd be nice to get your input. And like I said, not the only reason people listen, but so to hear something like that, and I hope if there are any creators or people who want to get into YouTube listening to that, know that it's like, it's normal, right? I mean, you might think podcast is such an easy thing to do, and it is if you don't do it the way I do it. I mean, I fully edit this up, I do everything, I do all of this kind of stuff. I have a lot of like lack of sleep nights. Like, balancing this alongside work and hopefully starting to balance it with streaming is very tough. And it's like, even with the simplest things of just talking to creators, it can be hard to balance and work with. But if I mean, my way of saying it, right, is lose sleep now and then get all the sleep in the world when this is full time. And that's what keeps me going. So
it's funny, you sound just like I did. I used to be just like that. Me and some creators I used to work with back in the day, and we're still great friends, but we just don't record together. Moosecraft and Unspeakable. We used to work together a lot back in the day, and some recording sessions would last 20 hours, 25 hours, like overnight. Like we used to work with like there was some others, like '09 Shark Boy was part of that crew, and like it was just how everyone did it back then. And then after doing it for like 2 to 3 years, all of us kind of took a step back and we're like, man, this is so unhealthy. We need to stop. And we did, and and most of us have healthy work schedules now, so we've kind of gotten that underway. But I think it's just that mentality of like, in the beginning, you kind of do have to put that extra foot forward, even though it's tough and it can be brutal and really taxing. When you do it, when you get on that other side of that hump, it almost becomes easier because you took those extra steps in the beginning to lay the groundwork for what's ahead, right? And so it's like you put in that hard work, make your life easier down the way.
I mean, it's also because like I have to work, right? I have a partner, I have to pay like housekeeping, I have to buy stuff, I have to live my life a little bit. I have to go to work. So if I'm putting in the effort to do content creation, but I'm not putting in full effort because I have to balance my job, it's like, oh yeah, I'll do well, but I won't do well as fast as I want to do well. So if I kind of pressure myself now while working, and yeah, it's rough, and yeah, it may not be healthy, but hopefully in like a year's time, or like I know I'm just putting it as a time frame. Like I could maybe be earning the same amount from YouTube as I am from my job, and then I can leave my job and I can sleep more, I can go out more, I can do more, because then instead of working 5 days a week, I'll be editing the podcast 5 days a week, and then overnight time I can chill rather than working 5 days a week and then editing the podcast overnight time. So that's the way I see it anyways, just from the position I'm in. But
no, yeah, and that makes sense too. There's actually a really good YouTube, not that YouTube gurus are in the best light right now, but there is a YouTube guru who was a YouTube guru before it was cool to be a YouTube guru.
I think I know what you're about. It's a rise and shine on Twitter.
No. Yeah, how'd you know? No, that's my second Twitter account is what that is. Roberto Blake, that's the actual guy's name. That guy, he gives great advice for anyone who's like balancing work and creation and how to make that sort of work. But anyway, yeah, I do. You brought up Rise and Shine, so I'll go into that. That's my secondary Twitter page where I tweet about all things YouTube, because main Twitter page is
main, 'cause it's interesting.
Yeah, well, because like my main Twitter is mostly just like kids, right, and people who follow me for my content. I use the word kids lightly because that's the older side of the audience on Twitter usually.
A younger generation. Yeah,
a younger generation compared to my age, they're younger. And so on Twitter, on that one, that's sort of what was there. But I like to tweet about YouTube, especially like when the YouTube automation space was really taking off. A lot of people were tweeting about YouTube all the time, and all these analytic posts were out there, and I love that space. So I was just like, I was eating it all up. I was like enjoying it. I was like, I want to tweet about this stuff. So I made one just to tweet about it, not to inherently be a guru, or I have no goal with it, like to sell a course or any of that. That's why I used to put on there like I no plans to sell anything. Like it's just something I wanted to talk about, because I think having conversations about YouTube and YouTube analytics is only going to make the community and everyone who makes content and surrounds themselves with that knowledge stronger at making content, right? So that's why I love that space, and I thought it made sense to make that Twitter account and just provide insight wherever I can for fun, just to help smaller creators who maybe just have some questions.
We mentioned this before the podcast. I know I'm allowed to bring this up, which is really good. You have a pin tweet.
I do.
It says it's from May 23rd, 2023, so like still really recent. I know it's been a year, but I still count that as recent because it's newer time, I guess. All it takes is one amazing video to make a full year's salary on YouTube. Focus on quality, not quantity. So I'm gonna assume this is the Ryguyrocky channel. This was
that's the Ryguyrocky channel.
6.9 million views and you $46,000.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that
sorry.
That's how YouTube is. Like people don't. I don't think
people don't realize,
I didn't even realize it. Like I didn't realize it because I've had back in 2015 I had a series called Minecraft Daycare that really ripped off and was getting millions of views a video, and I never saw earning like some of these 100-day videos, because when you combine a high RPM alongside a high view count, the earnings suddenly like multiply. It just becomes astronomical. So it's only because of this perfect formula where I've found high RPMs and long form Minecraft content and found a way to get millions of views while doing that. So it is not a perfect science, mind you, because you have videos like RPMs are all over the place. So some videos might make a crazy amount off of that many views where others might not make as much. So I'll go into some examples here. So the video there in that example, I believe was one of our more popular ones. It was here. I believe that one is most likely Godzilla.
I mean, there's a few it could have been. It could be. Wait, how many views was it? Was it 6.9? Oh no, man, it can't be the one
6.9.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. It's either the Godzilla one or it could be the Warden one as well, because that's on 7.6 now as well.
There we go. I just got that. No, it's actually probably.
Oh god, so many it could be.
Yeah, there's a few it could be. Well, looking at the analytics, that's pretty normal. So I'm looking at Warden right now. I'll be like absolutely open about this. So Warden's sitting at 7.6 million views and has earned $49,870.
Jesus. Oh, wait, can I ask another video? Can I ask? Oh, actually, I'll let you finish it now, and then I'll ask one more.
What are you gonna ask, Mr. Beast?
Actually, no. Funny enough, I was gonna ask the robot one, but yeah, tell me, Mr. Beast. Sure.
Sure. Well, the reason I'm bringing up Mr. Beast is because it's a counter example of a video that has a crazy amount of views, 18.4 million views.
Yeah.
Only earned $29,000. Now that's still a lot of money. It's still a lot of money. Yeah. Still a lot of money. But comparatively,
yeah,
it has more than double the views, but has earned like half. And so some of the videos, just depending on what audiences they hit, don't earn as much. So like the Mr. Beast one had a very kid audience, so it didn't earn as much. Now some people are probably out there thinking like, isn't your audience all kids? Surprisingly, no. A large portion who watch us are like people just getting out of high school. They go home, they have a TV in their room. This is the sort of thing
I'm
we try to
one tomorrow. So
well, and that's what I mean. Well, a lot of people just assume it's kids because and it is a lot of kids, but we do actually have quite a few older audience members, and they're the ones who tend to watch our videos for the full length and watch it for like the stories that we're creating within different universes and stuff. So but that age group, depending on what you lean into, tends to dictate how much you'll make. So Mr. Beast went into YouTube Kids, so the earnings were a lot less, where a video like you said you were going to bring up
the robot one.
Yeah, Robot. Now Robot did very good, but that's also another one that went into YouTube Kids, I remember. And that one only made 21,000 off of 10 million views. So it's so not like hit or miss dependent. And then like, because then to match one that's like near identical, Grim Reaper has identical views to that and made 50,000. So there's no stability in it. You just kind of hope that you get the right audience pool, and YouTube sends you to an audience with a high RPM.
But that's the other side of YouTube, right? Like, I mean, a lot of people will be listening to this now and be like, oh my god, 20,000, 50,000, that's 70,000, that's so much money. But, and yes, it is. I mean, we won't take away from that. Firstly, it's the effort put in. Secondly, it's the time put in. Thirdly, it's the risk, because YouTube, I mean, as you kind of mentioned it there, I'm not sure, I don't think you was mentioning in this sense, maybe you were, but it's not stable, right? I mean, you can, of course, like, you're in a good enough position to be happy, but I mean, I could make a YouTube video tomorrow and be like, get like £10,000, right? I could be like, oh my god, I can quit my job, and then 5 months later not even make close to that, and it's like, oh, I've just quit my job and now I'm not earning £10,000 a month anymore. I earned it 1 month, now I'm earning like £500, and that's just how you have to make it work for it to work.
It's why I always tell creators, like, you can't rely on AdSense, and I'm guilty of being one of the creators that relies probably a little too heavily on AdSense, but like, the creator business has really evolved over the years. It used to be just you make content, you take on sponsors, you sell merchandise, that's it. But now there is so many different ways for creators to make a living on YouTube. Like it really is incredible. Like, let's say you have your own YouTube channel, but you're not making enough to go full time. Well, you can pick up editing on the side, work as someone's editor, part-time or full-time, whatever you have time for, and still stay in the online digital space and learn and grow in that atmosphere. Not many jobs kind of give you that ability. And I think it all helps because YouTube's popular in a lot of like Discord communities. And if you want to get started from the ground, like bootstrapping YouTube, you just have to learn everything, right? I'm sure you understand that. Like, you got to learn everything from 3D animation softwares to make thumbnails. You need to learn editing softwares to edit videos, Photoshop to make thumbnails, recording softwares to set, to get your video perfectly shot. And it's just like, there's so many aspects that you have to follow, I guess, to make a perfect video. And when you take all those pieces, right, the editing, the Photoshop, whatever, you're actually building someone who has such a vast and good skill set that they're not even just like setting themselves up as like a creator in the future. They're also setting themselves up to be part of that creator ecosystem forever, right? So one thing I always tell people is like, I'm Ryguyrocky now, and yeah, my main thing is like a Minecraft channel and stuff like that, but I'm probably not going to be Ryguyrocky forever. And all the skills I've taught myself from running Ryguyrocky are going to translate into whatever that thing is next. Because I've learned so many skills from running this, right? I mean, I'm running a business. I have employees. I've had to learn about employee benefits and all this side of things I never would have had to learn if it wasn't for me just taking the time to learn each piece. You know what I mean?
Mine is like slightly different. So I'm actually, when it comes to like, other than editing, when it comes to like the whole other side of YouTube, like thumbnail making and stuff like that, I'm really clueless. I don't know how to make thumbnail. I've never really known how to use Photoshop, all that kind of jazz. So mine is slightly different in the sense of, rather than learning how to do stuff with YouTube, I've learned how to kind of, you know, work with people. For instance, I have someone who helps make thumbnails. I have somebody who does short clips. I have somebody who does, Rory does the animations, Jokana does the short clips, Oracat makes my thumbnails, etc. But I've been able to kind of talk to these people and get them on board with the vision to where they're happy to do it, you know? Like, so rather than me kind of piling it all on myself and doing everything, because that'd be way too much stress if I had to do everything. So I did 2 podcasts a week, so doing that and that on top of work, that'd be way too much. I've been able to talk to people and kind of like learn how to get people to kind of see your vision and understand you and be on your side, you know, or be there with you to grow, kind of thing.
No, yeah, 100%.
What are your thoughts on shorts? I was gonna ask, because you make long form content, so you have an opinion?
Not like not one that swings negatively or positively in any direction, right? Like, I mean, if it's just another form of content, right? Like, that's just how I view it. And I personally avoid shorts because on my channel it just doesn't make sense to do them. We've done them, like, I'm sure if you look, we have a few we've tested, or like a few we've done sponsored on. But in general, I'm just not a big fan of shorts because like they take a while to get views. The earnings are all over the place. Like, and there are some very successful shorts people out there who probably are like, that's just because you don't understand it. And they're probably right, to be honest. But I just think that there's so much more control in the long form video area compared to the short form area, where like short form is what long form YouTube used to be in like 2014, 2015, where it was like there was a lot of luck in getting picked up by, you know, YouTube's algorithms and whatnot, where now it's like there's a lot of research and development and all that goes into it. And so I think it's much easier to launch into YouTube's algorithm than the shorts algorithm, because I feel like it's like the Wild West, very random.
Exactly. Yeah. No, actually, yeah. That's so true. Actually, because I've had shorts creators on. I've had other people like who are like quite successful, but then it works both ways, right? Because it's also a case of like, maybe they wouldn't know how to, maybe they would, and I'm not saying you wouldn't know how to make short content, but it's like a case to case basis of like, maybe you're amazing at making long form content but don't have a clue about short form, and they're amazing at short form content but don't have a clue about long form. It's just about what you're good at and utilizing that. So
exactly, it's like I don't work with shorts, so my knowledge of shorts is what I've done and the data I have, which is minimal. So I'm sure there's shorts creators out there who have found ways to make it stable.
With the podcast, we've been uploading daily pretty much. So like this week, for example, we haven't uploaded any podcasts, so we've been uploading daily shorts. On a normal week, we upload podcasts. I upload podcasts on Wednesdays and Fridays, and then shorts every other day. And it's been great for growth, right? Because like if it's not a case of getting people to watch like just the shorts, but I link the video, it's like they're watching the podcast short, and then hopefully that entices them to watch the full podcast.
Right.
So that's the goal we've been going for. It's kind of been working, to be fair. It works for like certain podcasts. So
yeah, because I view it as no different than like a business funnel, right? Like you need some wide-reaching net, which I consider as like shorts, to capture some fish, right, and then bring it down the funnel, and then they'll watch the podcast, and then maybe you convert that into another funnel down the line, right? Like that's kind of how I think it works for podcasts. I think it also works really good for streamers to like do a mix of clips, especially if you're trying to build like a personality channel that's more about, just because it's an easy example right now, like Jinxeed and what he's built. You know, you see clips of him everywhere, all over the place. Obviously there's other people posting a lot of them now, but beforehand he was posting his own clips all the time, and he almost got to a point where the shorts clips were what made him go viral, and that made people go to his YouTube channel and Twitch channel because he advertised at the end of each short, and that in turn boosted him up over time until he exploded. I know there's more to that story, but that's my quick quick rendition of it anyway.
Well, you said about like other people posting the shorts, but there's still shorts being posted at the end of the day. It doesn't matter who's posting it. It's still little clips enticing.
Right, that's fair. That's fair.
So it's kind of from my thing here. When you talked about the whole like long form thing. So when I uploaded that MCC video, right? So I did the concept before. And when I invited you on, I told you about the speedrunner concept. That was a 20-minute video. So when I was doing the MCC video, people just kept like showing interest, right? I reached out to a certain amount of people. Some didn't reply. Everyone else replied. And I reached out to more people. They replied. Then the old people decided they wanted to reply. So I was like, oh crap. But when it came to it and I found out the video was 54 minutes long, I was like, oh crap. I'm worried. It's now my most viewed video with it's going to have 6.5k views in a minute. So it's now my most viewed video. It's not earned loads, £15. I'm happy with £15. I think that's really good. 6.5.
I mean, yeah, that's
6.5
a decent RPM too.
So it's like stuff like that's really interesting. So it's like I was worried about it being longer form, but because the watch time is high, because like the RPM is quite good. I mean, I can tell you like what the revenue share is thing. It's the revenue for every 1k views is £2.56, which is pretty good, I'd say, in my eyes.
That's, I mean, for a channel like that YouTube doesn't have a ton of data on, that is pretty good. The more data YouTube gets, that should go up. I mean, like, because when I see it, like long form content, anything from like 50 minutes to like 2 hours in that range should average an RPM of like $7 on a low end, and then on a high end as much as like 15.
Jeez, okay.
Yeah,
but
so
that, like, there's also a podcast channel as well, so it's kind of like a sticky situation.
Right. It could be a different, like, I tend to use the word market instead of niche, but it could just be a different niche, right? Like maybe the podcast Minecraft niche, that's just what the audience's RPM is, right? Like that YouTube calculates it, so there's no real way to get around it. You're gonna have what you have for your audience, but in general, from what I've seen, longer form Minecraft audiences tend to be around like 7 to 10.
What is Rocky Media LLC? That's your company, right?
Yeah. So that is the company I run. We're a media company, and I've had it for years, and it's kind of had several different structures over the years, depending on what we were building at the time. So originally, it was just going to be a company where we made YouTube videos, and we built out this universe full of characters that people loved, and we wanted to see where that would go. And it did really good for a while, but then, like any TV show, you get bored of it, you get bored of the characters, whatever, you move on. So that happened to our first show. So
wait, what was the name of the show? Sorry,
that was the Minecraft Daycare series, which later became Minecraft Academy. So we had like the Ryguyrocky channel. We had a channel called Tina the Tiger, a channel called Goldie, a channel called Unicorn Man. And we had all these channels just like posting content. And it was this content universe. It was very cyclical. But the problem was, it was like once you were in that universe, you stayed. But then like one day YouTube just, because it got to a point where YouTube was like, everyone who watched this either already knows about it and is done, or like basically the audience pool is over. Yeah, so it just got to a point where like YouTube's algorithm stopped pushing it one way or another, right? Like it was a mix of like lazy content. Like when I look back, I don't enjoy that type of content that we produced back then. I didn't think it was good. Like people were more interested in the characters than they were what I was posting, if that makes sense. And so I knew I didn't have to really put much effort into what the content was. It was more, if I put those characters in a situation, people would watch. That was it, right? And that's cool and all, but it just got to a point where it was old. I wanted to move on. So then we kind of moved into what Rocky Media is today, where we built it more like a traditional media company. And, we're talking, we have an operations manager. I have a production manager. We have a post-production manager, all these things. And the reason we did it that way is there's a famous graph that goes out in the creator space. I believe Colin and Samir are the creators of this graph, but it shows two pyramids. And the first is a creator run business. And basically think of this as an upside down pyramid with the creator at the bottom. Everything the company does at one point has to go through the creator to get the output. And that for me was like a wake up call, because I can't have my hand, as I scale Rocky Media, I can't have my hand everywhere at once, right? It's just it already has bubbled past where I'm able to do that. And so obviously I have to divvy up what areas I want to do. And the best way to do that is to build a proper business structure with the creator on top of the pyramid, and then things work down off the creator, right? So that way it's like, okay, do you need the creator to continue? No, because he's at the top of the pyramid. You cut off the top of the pyramid, it still stands, right? But with the other example, you cut off the creator, it doesn't stand. So it was like, how could I build a company that would stand on its own two legs without me? And so that's kind of what we're doing now, is building a company that is, well, Ryguyrocky is funding this whole thing. Within 3 to 5 years, I probably won't be making content on YouTube. It'll probably be other creators working on other channels that we launch, and I'm not going to go into too much detail there right now, but we have a lot of plans that involve me getting replaced out of content. And by the way, I will always post on Ryguyrocky, and we also have some interesting ways to keep me posting on there consistently with high quality content. But I'm not going to force myself to be on a schedule. I'm not going to, because me and my fiance, we're getting married in 2025, and we don't want to, just be stuck in this mundane. I wake up every day, I go sit by my desk, I play Minecraft, I record videos, I set up videos, I take a billion business calls. We don't want that to be our life, right? I've been grinding at this YouTube game for over a decade. And so, eventually I need to figure out what my exit is. Now, I already know what that looks like. Me and my team do. And so within 3 to 5 years, there is a planned exit for me, where I'll still be, posting once in a while on Ryguyrocky, but you'll probably see more of me just kind of like what PewDiePie does now, posting whatever I want on whatever channel I want when I want. And that's probably the point it will get to for what I'm concerned anyway.
This is a weird question, and I don't know how well you're going to be able to answer this. Also, say you just decided to, leave Rocky Media tomorrow, like your team, you was able to find them like positions elsewhere, and you just didn't really want to do Ryguy anymore. You didn't want anything anymore. You just wanted to leave the space. How well, Ailey, does Ryguyrocky do? Like, how long would it fund you for to not have to do anything? Does that make any sense? I'd like to. This is a weird question. So you might not be able to answer it fully.
It is tough to calculate that, obviously, because there's a lot of factors at play. Like, is YouTube having a better year or worse year? Like this year, YouTube's having a worse year. Their Q1 of 2024 went down instead of up in earnings. So ad rates are kind of on the lower end right now. So it's hard to answer that in full, but I can kind of give an estimated answer of what I think it would last. I don't think, and this is kind of the number I think, I don't see Ryguyrocky's income dipping below $10,000 a month if I quit uploading today for like at least 3 to 5 years.
So it'll be interesting to see where you're at in 3 to 5 years, right?
Yeah, because it's like the channel has 1,800 videos. That's just that channel. Across all my channels, it's close to 3,000 videos. So I'm assuming those are all bringing in money on the back end for years to come. So because we have channels we don't upload on anymore that still bring in thousands of dollars a month that are just dead, but they still earn you money. It's sort of like you work in Hollywood, right? You get royalties on a movie. It's the exact same thing. I view it like these videos pay dividends for years to come.
Yeah, I mean, I said it to my mom and dad, right? Because I've had to pay for editors to do videos and stuff like that, and I spent a decent amount of money on, and I've lost the money. But I've said it to my mom and dad. I'm like, but it's passive income, right? No, what do you mean? I'm like, well, with Insane Orbits, I was uploading videos almost like daily, and I spent a good amount of money on editors, and I probably lost a lot of money from that channel. I don't upload on it anymore. I don't really earn a lot of money from it. However, I'm still earning every month. Like, so be it if it's in like 50 years time. At one point, I'll make the money back because it's passive income. I'm not doing anything on that channel anymore, but I'm still earning money from it. So
right,
that's the way I would, anyways.
It's funny because the day you quit YouTube, it turns into passive income. So as long because that's the thing. Like, even without adding fuel to that like YouTube ecosystem, like it will pump views for years. And like I've seen it. I mean, we have channels that every December I get excited because every channel on our dead back end and start ripping. So you can have videos randomly go viral years later and all that sort of thing pops in, and so it's kind of fun.
I'm actually super interested to see how well like the podcast does in December. Obviously, December is like I know it from previous experience. It's just a big month for income. So I'm kind of interested to see if because I only became monetized on the podcast account at the end of March. So I haven't been monetized for long. So it'll be interesting to see what the difference is from now this month compared to in 7 months time when I've uploaded a bunch more podcasts, a bunch more videos. I have a good few planned. So it's a fun concept to look at. December.
December is the best month. Well, I would say November and December. For some reason, my Novembers tend to be a little better than my Decembers, but
okay. I've always just known December as like God. I mean, I remember when one December I uploaded like a tutorial video on Orbit's account. It's like an Easter egg hunt for like one of the servers, and I think that video alone earned me like £500, and I was like 17. I was living life. I was like, oh my God. I was like, can I have December every month?
Yeah, no, but that's what I mean. It's crazy because like YouTube also tends to promote things better that are monetizing good in December, and who gets the most ad traffic in December and November? It's kids. So like Minecrafters in particular and gamers in particular tend to see like a golden age in November, December for RPMs, and it tends to honestly make up for a lot of the rest of the year where you tend to get a little lower RPM compared to the rest of the industry.
Kind of like backtracking a little bit, so we've kind of just been talking about stats, and it's been amazing. Don't get me wrong, I love this, but we haven't really talked. I guess we have been talking about you, but you know what I mean, like the whole kind of history.
I get you. More less YouTube side.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're still gonna. I'm about to ask a YouTube question, but yeah, less statistics side. There we go.
Yes.
You said that you wanted to do this like from when you were younger and stuff, but how did you actually get into YouTube? Like, what did you do? Why did you really want to do it? Like, 15 years ago, what was your headspace? I guess
it's really hard to say. Because
good question, right?
Well, it is because like the reason I guess I got into into YouTube and the reason I got into Minecraft are just two different things. So like
YouTube's we'll do
a little.
We can do Minecraft if you want. That works.
I'll start with Minecraft because it's easier and it leads into the YouTube one. So you see, so the reason I got into Minecraft originally was straight up just like I was on YouTube watching it, and the first Minecraft video I saw was Nanners. So Nanners was posting a Minecraft series. I watched it, made me buy the game, so on and so forth. So that side of it's pretty straightforward. And that is the reason I started filming Minecraft on YouTube. So like it was just like I saw YouTubers doing it, like man, that looks like fun. I want to do that. But YouTube's a little different because the reason I started posting on YouTube was more related to I had a laptop that had a webcam, which is like one of those videos you see on the Halo Man channel that's still up. Is just a laptop webcam filming it, and it had an editor built in that was built into this webcam software. So it had everything. It was all in one. You had music, you could do it all. And so then from there, you just clicked upload. It would upload directly to YouTube, and you just made an account all through the editor. Nothing like I never actually went on YouTube to watch these videos. For years I thought I was posting on my lap. Like I didn't realize these were going up on YouTube for like a good 2 years. And so I found out they were all going up like on YouTube, and none of them had views. Like I think one had like 90, something like that. And so I just that process of like when I discovered it was on YouTube and then being like, wait, this has view. People are watching this. Oh, that's weird. I kind of fell in love with that. And so you combine that with how I discovered Minecraft, and my already like previous love before that was entertainment and acting. So I was on like theaters, and I like to do musicals and that side of thing. Combine those three together, and YouTube was kind of just like the perfect storm.
That's so cool. Sorry, I know it's such a basic reaction. It's just I'm a bit like stunned how like interesting it's kind of you combine everything and be like, yeah, this is what I combine it all into one, and so this is what I want to do. And then 15 years later, now you're sitting on the InsideMC podcast. So how lucky.
Yeah, I never would have expected that. That's for sure.
I would have never expected it. Don't worry.
You're like, I didn't even see it coming.
Because it's kind of like I've always liked talking. I used to be really, really shy. It's undiagnosed, but I have anxiety. I was talking about this with someone the other day, and I was like, because I remember they said they was anxious. Well, I said like, it was yesterday because I had training, and I met this guy, and he was like doing a presentation because he's first time ever doing it, and he's like, I was like really nervous, and I was like, you did a good job. He's like, he was very fidgety and stuff. I said, you did like an amazing job. I said, for your first time as well. He's like, but this isn't what I normally do, so I was like quite like nervous and stuff. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I have anxiety too. I was like, I'm really good at talking to people. And he's like, oh, but like how? I said, because and the thing is, it's not about stopping it, it's about hiding it, right? And that I guess that works for me, is in a sense of rather than like trying to stop the nerves or stop being anxious, cover it up so no one knows I have it.
I get it. I call it masking.
That's the word. Yeah, no, that is literally the word. Yeah.
So I have a theory that like 90% of Minecraft creators all mask to some degree, right? Because like at the end of the day, there's a reason most of us are Minecraft creators. Because at least in mine, like I was that nerdy kid. I was kind of a weirdo in high school, weirdo in school. So like Minecraft was my gateway into like another world. Like that's where I found my people. That's where I found friends. That's where I found everything. So I think to some degree, you're always going to have like a lot of creators have that social anxiety, but because you're a creator, you just get really good at masking. And because I'll be honest, almost every creator I talk to has it to some degree. Like everybody. I'm in fact, I get more shocked when someone isn't like that in the gaming space, because usually in the gaming space, there's a reason they're a gaming creator that started when they were a teenager. Usually,
I think it's better personally. I'd rather mask it than try and fight it, because like
that's fair.
It's kind of like how I see it, right? Because I mean, when it comes to sitting behind the screen talking on podcasts, this is natural. I don't mask this. I'm not nervous. I'm not anxious. I didn't get anxious while talking to you. And I think I showed that pretty well, just how we started the call and talking. I used to get quite anxious on the podcast, but I don't anymore. But when it comes to like maybe an IRL situation, or like when I first started casting tournaments, I did like just practice. I was a little bit like, oh, but instead of like trying to fight it and trying to calm myself down or trying to like hide the nerves, it's kind of like, screw you. I'm just gonna put you to one side. No one's gonna know you're there. Who's the real winner? Rather than battling you and you win, if I just push you to one side and just kind of deal like let you be there but not actually control how I feel, I'm the real winner in the situation now. So I'm better.
It works. I mean, like, because that's kind of what I do, except I just kind of force my, like, back when I used to do a lot of conventions and stuff a few years ago, when those were everywhere. I'm sure you remember a few years ago, like all the Minecraft conventions, like I
wish I could have been to one.
There was one that was Mine Fair. That one was everywhere, and I went to a bunch of them. But like, as someone who has like a mild social anxiety, like every time I went on that stage, I I was so nervous. But all I did is I would just pretend, it was my WWE walkout, like it was this hype montage thing, and like it just tricked my brain into being okay with the process, and so it is weird, but I think at the same time, like it's not, like you said, it's not overly surprising that a lot of people have this, but it's a thing where if you are able to get a good control of it, like you said, you're able to kind of get a good control in real life and just kind of put it to that side, then, I don't really think stuff like that needs to really be addressed, because you seem to have it like under control, right? So it's not really something that's affecting your life.
Yeah.
Where I have met some people where I know it's like, it goes even more extreme than that. Like they start shaking and stuff. So like for them, I think they probably can't just put it to one side, but for those that can, it's definitely a useful skill to have.
Well, I mean, no, I used to be like that. Like when I started working at 18, I had to get a job, right? So I got a warehouse job, and like every single morning for about 5-6 months, maybe, I wouldn't always physically get sick, but I'd get sick every morning in secondary school. So I started school in like 13. I used to be really outgoing and confident in primary school, so up until I was about 12. But between the ages of 13 and 15, I used to have a mentor, because I used to get sick every morning, really unwell. The mentor didn't help because he just smelled of coffee, which made it worse. But like, I used to get bullied really bad, all that kind of stuff. And then when it happened to work, it was the same. So what I do now is, and it's such a weird combination, okay, but it works somehow. I carry Mentos with me, so if I ever get like the clumpy feeling in my throat, I'll chew on Mentos. And I also just listen to good music. Like I listen to certain music that's kind of like, putting yourself as the main character kind of music. And it's like, if I'm the main character, I'm not gonna fail. So
I do that in the gym. I listen to funk because it gets me hyped at the gym.
Exactly, and you're not gonna fail, if you're getting hyped up. So because you're the main character in your story. So
exactly.
Looking through like older content here from yourself, then I mean, more so popular older content. If you filter to popular and look at like certain videos from like 8 years ago, so Evil Mobs, a Minecraft parody. Warfare, a Minecraft parody. Fighting for Love, a Minecraft parody. How did you know that Minecraft music was your calling?
I'll be honest, Captain Sparkles. He released Fallen Kingdom, and I don't even know if it was Fallen King. I think it was just TNT back then. It was the first one he released, and there was a bunch of people back then releasing music, right? Like Bebop Fox was releasing some bangers back then.
Yeah,
there was a bunch of creators.
Dan Bull, I believe, is the one who made
Dan Bull. Yeah, he had the Boom 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 Creeper song. Yeah.
Still listen to that to this day. I still listen to a few, actually, funny enough.
No, there's a few bangers out there, and so like, Atlanticraft had some really good ones. So basically, everyone was posting like really good music videos, and I wanted to do a really good music video. And funnily enough, my first music video isn't even listed there. It's called Creepers Everywhere. And it's just because the reason it didn't do good was, well, one, I had 800 subscribers at the time. So like, just didn't pick up. But it has 1 million views now. But the reason I always bring that video up is like the 3 music videos you listed did really well, only because I had my first one, which did not do good, where I learned kind of the ins and outs of that. So like it started with Creepers Everywhere was my first music video. And that one's a parody of I think it's Maroon 5 as well, but either way, Sky Does Minecraft released a parody of that same song 3 weeks after I did. So my parody was doing bad, and then it started getting views, but all the comments were, you copied Sky, you copied Sky, you copied Sky.
Yeah, of course.
There was obviously a few that were like, look at the date, guys, this one came out first. It was just pure coincidence that we released on the same song. But as much as everyone was saying I was copied, it was my first video to 100,000 views because of Adam and his video. So he did that one, but then I was like, okay, well, I need to obviously follow it up with another one. At the time, obviously 100,000 views. I'm like, let's get going. And I had found a crew that was willing to make these things for free back then. Like I was scrapping together whatever I could, because back then you could kind of get away with like, do this for free promo. Like that was acceptable on the internet back then.
Name in the top line in the description.
Yeah, that was, well, it was acceptable back then. It just isn't anymore. And I understand it. Like the industry's evolved. But so I basically wanted to do something similar to Captain Sparkles, where, at this point, I think he'd released 2 music videos and they were clearly forming a story. I don't think Fallen Kingdom had come out yet. And so I wanted to do the same thing with my music videos. So we started by releasing, I think it was Warfare came first. I could be wrong on this, but I believe it was Warfare first, then Evil Mobs, then Fighting for Love. And I made it this trilogy.
Yeah,
they have a really good storyline. And in general, the storyline was like, it was cool. It was like, the first one was about Steve fighting. Then you later on you meet his son and he sees his father die. I had a lot of fun with that, like storyboarding the animations to creating the music. And lyrically, I look back and my lyrics are abysmal, but everything else on it was actually really cool. I actually fondly look back at those music videos because, like, not only did a team that was vastly under-resourced manage to create these, but we managed to create several of them for like one a year. Every year for a while. So those are some videos, even though it's been a long time since I've released another one, like, I'm so proud of those.
It's just interesting to see, like, because a lot of people released, like you said, the music at the time. However, with you kind of form like the story idea, a lot of people kind of just did release anything. Like, I know Victor, for instance, he also did the music at the time, but it wasn't really like as far as I'm aware, there wasn't really a story behind these ones, but they still did well also, if that makes sense.
No, yeah, things did really well. My thing's always been stories. Like, if you look back at my content, I've always been like, okay, cool, this is what's popular. How do I storyify it? You know, like, that's just been how I've done it, whether it be the role plays back in the day to, you know, even with 100 Days, like, everyone was doing survival, and I was like, how can we add some story elements in here? You know what I mean? So
quite interesting that you mentioned role plays, actually. Ryguy Roleplays.
Yeah.
you have a channel.
Another one. Yep. I do have another YouTube channel, Ryguy Roleplays, though that it's kind of a dead channel, to be honest. It's a channel we post on, and I wouldn't say my fiance posts on it. She goes in, she takes old content we filmed like 4 or 5 years ago, it's into like an hour-long video. We upload that, and then we just take the earnings on it. It's just so old content isn't earning nothing. Like, for us, we see it as just like that. That's like what stuff you can do to make sure that you're making royalties on past content, and you can increase the percent of those royalties just by re-uploading it in little montages like that.
It's kind of funny because I was actually thinking of like re-uploading videos on Insane Orbits. I just never got around to it because I didn't have them saved on my PC. So I was like, do I really want to download them from YouTube and then upload it? And like, you know, I get a few comments like, oh my god, you're re-uploading. It's just like, yeah, they're not now, and I'm not in the position to do that. Maybe at one point I'll start re-uploading podcasts. You might re-listen to this in about 5 years time when I want to make some more money from Ryguy. So
well, I might pique your interest here in a sec on why it makes sense to do it. We did it because we'd seen a lot of creators start doing it in the space. Mind you, I understood why. I
understand.
Basically, long videos, higher RPM, all that. So people started doing them in December. So we tested them even on our main channel in December, and we did I Survived 1,000 Days as a Superhero. Now that video has 3.3 million views and is our highest earned video for those views to date, which that one's sitting at $56,000 for only 3.3 million views, which is really high. And that's where compilations are powerful. If you can find a good compilation combo, then you can like just upload them in October, November, December. You will not be disappointed. I promise. Any creator out there, if you're ever having a little struggle month, compilation, you're good. It's a great little cheat code.
Well, the big part of me, basically, what I wanted to do is I wanted to take my like most viewed Insane Orbits videos, right? Then it's gonna sound really bad, but I didn't do it. I just wanted to test it. Then download like the best ones. Then in like November time, upload like twice a week. And as I upload one, unlist the old one, and then re-upload it just to see how well it does for views and see if anyone picks up on the fact that this is an old video. And it's just re-uploaded.
Oh, they would definitely catch on to that.
Well, I mean, I used to make Hive content, and that's changed a decent amount, so people would definitely be on.
Oh, so they would definitely, they would definitely. I mean, that's why, in my opinion, it's like I don't even hide it, right? Just lean into the fact that it is a compilation, that this is a compilation, right? Because like I think that's where YouTube is. It's all about honesty and authenticity now. So it's like, you know, people ask me all the time about my 100-day videos. Are they real? God, no. Like, no.
I thought they were. I thought you were actually Spider-Man.
Yeah, no. That's like people are more like surprised that it's like, oh, you know, hey, you're not like, I'll see comments on, you didn't really survive those 100 days. Yeah, you're right. No, I didn't. Ain't nobody got time for that. That's like minimum 16, around 16 hours of filming. And like, that's a lot of time to put into filming with all the other stuff we got to do, you know? So we've learned now to get rid of the boring bits and stage those out with, I could go into detail here and give a whole in-depth behind the scenes. I'm not going to bore you with that, but like, we have a mod that allows us to like take timestamps within our game so we can rewind back to a point to refilm it and reshoot scenes. I could have my team going and film things. Yeah. So we have all these custom mods to make the filming process so much easier on my end. Especially as we expand Rocky Media, I want to be focused on the growth of the company, less on the Minecraft. So these mods are all helping us achieve that.
Yeah, I'm saying this as like a sort of half joke thing, right? So I'm not like being dead serious here. It's like half joke, half serious, I guess. You'll see when I say it. When you say about the whole like thing where you can go back and rewind time and like re-record something, right? Isn't that like a multiverse? Like if you go back and you change something, right? Doesn't that change everything? Oh,
honestly, it would if it didn't rewind the whole world with it. So like it basically takes like a timestamp, everything that's happening in that exact moment, and like just then I'll type the command. It's called player profile. So I'll type like player profile load, and then whatever syntax I named it to, and then it will load that exact moment, which is it's just super useful, especially if we have to redo scenes. So like we have a lot of scenes we do with like body actors and to do fights and stuff like that. So we'll take a player profile and we can just load the world into that moment over and over again. Like let's say we go in and then we screwed up but I accidentally blow up their house early. Okay, quick rewind, boop, everything's back. We're all back in our exact spots with the exact inventories, XP, everything we had at the moment to make sure it flows smoothly, right? So it doesn't look like I suddenly go from like level 20 XP to level like 10, stuff like that. So it basically has just made it so everything we do is super seamless.
I survived 100 days in the multiverse. I can see it.
Someone already tried. Moosecraft tried to do that already.
Oh, well, my idea was like you're on day 50, right? And then you rewind time to go back to day 25. So then you do the day from day 25. And when you get back to day 50, because you changed what happened at day 25, day 50 is now different.
I feel like that would be an excellent April Fool's Day video. 100 days as a time traveler. And then you're like,
there you go, write it down. You have your next April video. You can get started on it right now, Ryguy.
April Fool's. On day 1, I spawned in as a time traveler. Flash time set day 100. I did it. That could literally be the whole video.
What if you just like uploaded that in December, but then titled it like in the top of the description, April Fool's, but you actually uploaded it when revenue was at its highest? Sorry.
I would get canceled so fast. My audience would turn against. No, they wouldn't care. Honestly, the only reason I wouldn't do it is because that video would be so short comparatively to our other videos that it would have to go up on like a weird like April 1st day.
Yeah, for it to make sense. Yeah. Kind of like still talking about old content here. This is part of actually the person who helps do my research, which is fun. They mentioned how you used to do mod spotlights and how between 2014 and 2017 you did UHC content.
Wow,
is that tad wrong?
That's a throwback. The dates are a little off on the UHC stuff.
Maybe that might be my fault for the dates. I don't know if they exactly said that. I thought they said something similar to that.
I did used to do mod showcases in UHC. In fact, that was pretty much how I got my first like I'd say 10 to 50,000 subscribers. It was like a mix of like, because back then I was trying to be like a lot of creators are today. Like I wanted to be the guy who's a streamer. I had good videos. My stuff I was posting on Twitter. I was kind of everywhere, and so I wanted to. That was kind of the angle I was taking. Is like, okay, you got to kind of do everything. So I was doing live streams with UHC and videos with UHC because that was a popular thing back then was to do episodic UHCs. And so I was doing a bunch of those. I started my own UHC and then ended up joining the SM Cube. They did one that I was a part of. So there was a few of those that went on, and I never really had any traction, I would say, on any of that stuff like factions, UHC, any of the PvP side of stuff. It was never really an area I was too interested in anyway. But the mod showcases, I'm kind of happy you bring up because that's an area I was passionate about. We had so much fun making them, and funnily enough, I brought up earlier how I kind of pride myself on being the guy that had stories to things and always has been. Mod showcases are the prime example of that. This was the first time I'd found traction. This is where I started. I found a consistent formula that was getting views, not many, but like a few thousand, maybe 10,000 on a good video. And so everyone else was doing mod showcases were big at the time, right? I was not the only one doing them, but we had a unique twist. So everyone and their mother was like, okay, here's the mod, here's how the mod works in a very explanatory type of way. We were like, what if we do it in a more fun role play type of way where like we own a mod factory, it's run by a crazy CEO, I'm the employee who gets paid like dirt just to work there. And so we kind of built this whole like jokey universe where I work at a mod testing facility where we test mods, quote unquote, and each episode was a new mod that we were testing. Like that was kind of the premise of it. And that series started, I would say, building it didn't build a loyal audience that would like come back every video, but it's what built me, I guess, a following enough on YouTube where YouTube started to trust my channel. Pretty much everything I posted from that point forward had some sort of traction.
And that's how you helped, what kind of helped catapult you through like the rankings, I guess.
Yeah, because mod showcases, when they started to die, needed to find a new thing. And so a YouTuber named Mango Tango basically was like, hey, you want to try this new idea? It was like Minecraft meets Who's Your Daddy, that game. And so we did a series series based on that. And
10
I remember
million views 8 years ago.
Yeah, my first video on that did extraordinary. It was like overnight. It just blew up, and it was funny because the timing of it couldn't have been more perfect. It was like right when I had left college to do YouTube full time, so it was a real nice blessing. I'll be honest, to leave and then within 3 months have that happen. It really, for lack of being able to think of a better term, it valued the work myself of like what I was accomplishing, and really made it be like, no, all that time you're putting in is worth it.
I think I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask anyways. Have you ever been misled by a video concept? As in, have you ever uploaded a concept and it's done amazing, and then you've tried the same concept again and it just hasn't hit the same?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's happened a few times. So one of the best examples of that, and it doesn't reflect this way now if you look on the channel, but we uploaded a video called "I Survived 100 Days as a Rock," and that video did really, really good. And so we're like, okay, wait a minute, maybe this was at a time where everyone was doing "I Survived 100 Days as a lava dragon" or as an elemental spider and all this stuff. And so I was like, the simplicity of a rock hooked people, right? Because it was like all this complex stuff and then rock. It was funny. But then we tried it again with dirt, and we tried to do a dirt block, and it didn't hit. It did not hit at all. So I've seen it in terms of like that, where I'm like, I try a concept, I try it again, it doesn't work. But I think that's just me misinterpreting what made the video do good in the first place, right? So with rock and dirt, I thought people were doing it because like, oh, haha, rock. But it was just genuinely, the rock caught people's attention, but it was a good video. Where dirt, it may catch people's attention, but it wasn't a great video, right? So
it didn't hit the same. Yeah.
It didn't hit the same. And we've seen that time and time again. Like there's been times where I thought I was releasing a banger video, especially if you look in like the 3 years ago in my transitional period of content from Roleplay into the 100 days. You'll see I threw everything kind of at the wall to see what would stick, and there's a lot of slop through there. I'll just leave it at that. There's a lot of slop through there.
I kind of did the same. I ended up like kind of hunkering down and realizing what I wanted to do, and then I realized actually I don't want to do this anymore. Like I finally found what works with content on New Orbit's channel, and then I just didn't want to do it. I just but I'm happy with this. Like I'm sure it'll work at one point. I mean, the little interview videos is like kind of what you're saying with Rocky Media. Is I want to grow. I know it's called InsideMC, but I want to kind of grow it more than just Minecraft. Like I'm doing like little interviews, like the how do you compare themselves. There's also a video coming out soon regarding like SMP creators. It's a pretty interesting one, so I'm interested to see how that does. And then I have like other concepts I want to do, and they're all Minecraft, but I want to hopefully branch out at one point and do like IRL interviews or like quick questions, or I don't know, become like an official kind of source, like I'm assuming you've heard of Lad Bible at least once.
Yeah.
Like something like that, but not that. I don't know how to explain it. I just want to become like an official thing, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, for lack of a better way, like the Lad Bible of gaming, if you will. Well, I guess you said not even gaming because you also want IRL.
Well, okay, more so like I wanna be like Lad Bible, but I wanna do like interviews. I wanna be known as the guys like, oh crap, like if you wanna like here's okay, I guess I'm saying I wanna branch out from Minecraft, but if we stick to Minecraft, I'm also like if someone's gonna get interviewed or even casting, I want to try and branch into casting. It's like, oh, like InsideMC, that means it's gonna be a good casting, or that means it's gonna be a good interview, that means it's gonna be a good podcast, and it's regarding Minecraft. I want to be the guy you go to, kind of thing,
Yep, one-stop shop kind of.
Yeah, and I think I'm building that quite well, because a lot of creators are starting to show interest in coming on the podcast, so it's kind of become that, because no one else does it, right? I mean, there's other Minecraft podcasts, but no one does what I'm doing. No one interviews people. That's what I'm really grateful for as well. It's like I kind of have this whole field of like, oh shit, I don't have any competition. So which definitely makes it interesting.
And it's a big market, so
well, yeah, exactly. And hopefully, because other people have started podcasts and just no one seems to be able to kind of the consistency I do. And that links back to earlier when I said lose sleep now and prioritize this and kill my health, because in the future it will all be worth it once I can kind of relax a little bit.
I mean, that's how I view it. I'm hoping, I got only hopefully 3 more years left, and then I'm sitting on a beach somewhere sipping a Mai Tai.
You'll have to come on the podcast one last time at least to say your goodbye.
Oh, I'm not going anywhere in this scene, right? Like when I say sit back, I'm always going to be a YouTuber, right? Like I think I love creating too much. I just don't think I'll force myself to create content for like a business structure, right? Because hopefully my business is running without me at that point. So my income and what my channel doesn't affect the company. It should be minimal at that point, its effect. So like my goal is that I don't want to upload for a month and want to just travel around and post travel content. I can do that, right? Like that's kind of where I want to get to, is like the day I can post whatever I'm doing day to day is like the dream. Kind of like a Casey Neistat back in the day, but he put a lot more effort into it.
Yeah, I get that. You know, I mentioned about kind of moving on from like Minecraft and, you know, the hope of like maybe branching out, and maybe even one day I could make a podcast called Inside RB, if you know what that means.
Roblox?
Ryguy Roblox.
There, that's what it was. I was like, I'm guessing Roblox. Oh, there's the transition.
I'm good at this. Oh my god,
Yeah,
big ups myself here. You did Roblox content for a while. You've kind of just done everything. Jesus, you haven't uploaded on that channel in a while though. Last video was 7 months ago, and then other videos before that a year ago, so on and so forth. I mean, what's the deal with that? Is it just kind of like not the content you were expecting to make, or because it's definitely different to the Ryguyrocky channel. Obviously, I know 100 days is a bit different. But
it did very well for us back in the day, right? Like, so back when I talk about that era of having all those channels like Tina the Tiger and Goldie, so we basically, to continue off that trend, we put those characters in Roblox as well and just played Roblox. And the videos did well, anywhere from like 60 to 100. So like the channel was doing really well for a while. But then, like I said, that whole side of the business, we kind of shut it down. So we stopped posting there. And then a few times I've gone back to Roblox like, oh, I should post a video. And I can post a video and get views on there. But it's just, it comes from two angles, right? Like one, I don't enjoy making it anymore, which is a big thing for me. Like if I don't enjoy doing it, I'm not going to do it. So I'm kind of picky like that. You know, you could say I'm kind of a diva in that way. Like if I don't enjoy content, I won't do it. Like I know some people will, yeah, I mean it has its flaws. Like there are weeks where like I'm not feeling recording 100 days, so I'll just like put it off till like the last minute because I cannot bring myself to sit down and film it. But you know, I think with like Roblox, got to a point where like I can't even touch the game period without feeling like that. You know what I mean? So because you're always you're never gonna be 100% at all times feeling like, well, I'm 100% motivated to do this. So like I will push through a feeling of like not wanting to do something, but with Roblox, it just became a drag, a real big drag, because that community, like at least the Minecraft community, has some semblance of what it wants to watch. Roblox is the Wild West. It is so all over the place with the content and what people are making on it. And it is like Minecraft. You have different sub niches as well, but in general, it wasn't for me. It wasn't my cup of tea. Even though I brought it back like a year ago and 7 months ago, I decided to 7 months ago after we posted that one, I decided to permanently keep it shut down just because, you know, all my mentors out here, I live in Dallas, Texas. I have a few mentors out here, basically have given me the advice on how to expand Rocky Media into my goal, which is not needing me. And the first step of that is not adding myself to content. It's taking myself out of content, right? So, which would mean starting up on Roblox again just doesn't make sense for the long-term vision. So I shouldn't do it. And so I started uploading, immediately got a text from one of my mentors who was like, stop it. And so I stopped.
When you say mentors, like I brushed over it, which I shouldn't have, so I'm going to address it now. What do you mean?
People who know YouTube and business that I talk to for advice. Some are paid, some are not. Some of the more well-known people I've talked to, like Patty Galloway. I'm sure you know Patty.
Yes,
so like I've talked to Patty. We talked a few years ago. In fact, when my company was at a bad standstill in 2019, he was one of the people who helped me get out of that. And another big one is Daryl Eves, if you're familiar with him. He wrote the book, The YouTube Formula.
I'm not,
it's a very big book.
Though. I've heard about the book.
Yeah.
I just know they wrote it.
So he's the author of that book. He runs his own little YouTube. His is like a course, but it's like a course community. It's bigger than that. I actually like what Daryl's built. It's called, I'm about to, he's getting a free plug from me here. It's called Channel Jumpstart. And it's just a place where like you can really like learn the basics of YouTube. And I know everyone says they know the basics of YouTube. Most people do not. Like they don't realize that like what people think are the basics are like even more basic than the base. Like it's so base level that it's not going to help. Daryl's able to allow people to get that base level information and use it to fill the holes in what they're doing in their content. So like for me, a tip of advice that we needed back then was my content felt kind of random. He's like, you got to organize it into what he called video buckets, which is just like, you know, 100 days of video bucket, hardcore is a video bucket, like those are types of video bucket. And so he helped us like organize our thoughts, get it into place. We come up with a new video concept with 100 days. We launched it and it worked, right? So having mentors like that, it's just really useful because like, sure, 99% of the ideas still came through me, still were my creation, but it's being able to go to these mentors and be like, hey, I have this idea. Does this make sense? Because if you're in the weeds, these are the people that can kind of lift you out of the weeds and tell you like, hey, get rid of that brain frog, get out of these weeds. Like you've gone too deep, pull yourself out and like, let's take a step back and look at it again, right? That's where they really come in handy. And also just to make sure you don't lose yourself, right? Like Like I really loved, you know, I like I said in 2019 when I thought I had a pretty big ego over YouTube, thought I kind of knew it all. And I'll lean into Daryl here a little bit. Daryl's done a really good job, Splee, of humbling that ego side and just remembering like no one knows everything, and YouTube's a constantly changing game. So it's like it's not something where you're ever going to be 100% on top of it at all time. And so it's honestly nice hearing that and being around a bunch of other creators who are running things at a similar scale to me, because Daryl's good at like partnering you up with groups of people that are running at the same kind of level as you. And so you know, just that combination of things is he really put me in a good spot in 2019 with that combo of like his programs, his connecting you with other creators and all that. Just really put me in a spot where like the humbling, the video buckets, all that together, just it's why I'm like not scared of ever having a channel die on YouTube, because I know I could launch 5 more and be successful.
It's about surrounding yourself with people who are going to work as hard as you work, right? I mean, it's you're very fortunate, and it's because you've worked so hard to get to where you are that you have people like this in your corner. You've surrounded yourself with great people, and that's why you're doing great.
Yeah,
and
no, I agree. It is a lot with the people that I have in my life, because if you have the wrong people in your life, it will hold you back. I'm not going to harp on that too much, but I've seen a lot of people get in with the wrong crowds on YouTube and lose everything. And I mean that in a financial aspect, and I mean that in a like life aspect. Like they lost everything, not just like financially, but like friends, family, everything. So like, you know, you just always want to be careful. Like this creator, the clout drug is real. Just you got to remember that is a very real drug that people can fall for, and it's best avoided in my opinion.
Because I talk to a lot of people, and like if anyone messages me, I'm happy to respond and all that kind of stuff, as long as I'm not busy, because you know I do ironically keep a pretty packed schedule. But like one person who I'm talking to on a daily basis, who I'm constantly talking to, is the co-host of Midweek MC, AJX. And a year ago, don't even think we knew each other. And back in like maybe 6 months ago, I think I invited him to co-host Midweek MC, and we weren't even really that close. And now we talk like every day, and it's mainly just me showing podcast stats, or like I'm not stat hungry, but just things I'm proud of, like, oh look this, or like I think, right, I don't know if we've hit yet, but like we're really we're about to hit 1.8k subs, and it's like, oh crap, like this is, to me, it's big, because it's like, oh geez, this has kind of just come out of nowhere. So it's like this is projected, and like I'm surrounding myself with someone who is happy to listen, who is happy to respond, who's happy to be like, yeah, you're doing great, and like not as a oh yeah, no, I'm just gonna respond that you're doing great every single time you're happy about something. It will be real with me, and if I like missed the mark on something, they'll turn around and be like, yeah, don't. You know, they're not like a YouTube guru, and they're not massive in the field, but it's just nice to have somebody that positive in my corner who is also gonna like humble me and be like, don't do that, or shut up.
No, accountability, like just having like an accountability person is everything. Like I think it's so important. It's why I love having my team, because like they're my accountability day to day at this point. So it is nice. It's just nice having people in your lane, because you also know, like, if they're saying something to you, it's not coming from a place of hostility, it's from a place to help you grow, right? And I think that's the best part of it, is like it's always going to come from a place of growth, because your growth inherently helps their growth. So
kind of like the Roblox content creator, your most popular video is I became the most ripped man ever in lifting simulator.
I remember that one.
That was 4 years ago. You said you're going to the gym and stuff. Are you becoming the most ripped man ever in real life?
No, that's actually not my goal. I don't want to be ripped. Okay. I don't want to be that muscly. I just want to be healthy. Like that's it. I'll be honest, I was overweight by a lot. Like I was 215 pounds. I don't know what my percent body fat is. I know what it is now, but it couldn't have been good. And so I went from about 215 down to 165, where I still am today. And then I got my percent body fat now down to about 16%. And I want to keep dropping it lower. So I want to get down to about 13%.
I mean, I've got a bit of a belly, I will say. I'm hoping to, but you know, when the podcast is our content creation is full time, I'm gonna take my time to go to the gym and stuff. I was really motivated to keep going, and then COVID hit, and it just ruined everything for me.
Yeah, I was going before COVID too, and then when COVID hit, I just stopped, and you know, that's when I really put on the weight. And you know, the quote, it's just there's this one quote that sits with me: "Health is wealth." You know,
yeah.
And so it's like money's only useful, you know, working this hard to make money and to be, because like, you know, I'm a very monetary focused person, so it's like for me that's a big goal in my life, is to become financially free. But the only thing I won't sacrifice to get there is friends, family, and my health, right? And obviously when I say that, I'm not like gonna throw people to the side being like, help me get there. Like, that's not how it works, but you get what I'm saying. Like, I value those three things even more than my business I would ever value, because like at the end of the day, like being healthy and alive is the true meaning of life. Like just being able to be around the people that matter to you, right? So, because I know a lot of people get lost in the sauce in this YouTube game and with all the money and the stats and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's not really what matters.
With the whole like gym thing as well. So, I mean, what do you like? This is such a weird question. I don't know why we're going into this, but screw it, we're going to anyways. What is your typical gym day? Like, if you're in there for like an hour or two, like what do you do?
I work out 6 times a week with 3 cardio days, so just dedicated to getting my heart rate up, and you know, usually going distance. If I'm walking, I'll tend to go between 4 and 6 miles. If I'm running, usually only about 2.5. And so I don't go crazy on my cardio days. They're meant as like a recovery day. I take 1 full recovery day, where I don't even let myself run, and then 3 days doing weight training in the gym. 1 day is back, biceps. 1 day is like chest and shoulders, and then the last day is leg. So kind of spread that out throughout the week. Every other day is a cardio, and then at the gym, then cardio, then at the gym.
I know with the whole like Rocky Media idea that you want to kind of like steer away from involving yourself in content. But if you were ever to bring back the Ryguy channel, do you reckon you do gym content?
So I've done, yeah, man.
Sorry, that was
you're
my
really
transition.
you're reminding me how many channels I have.
I think this is the last one we're going to cover now, actually.
No, you're good. It's honestly kind of funny. So yeah, Ryguy is my real life channel, where I used to post IRL content. This is the same era I always talk about of like the channels of Goldie and Tina. Like that's all the stuff we were running back then. God, that's such a fun channel. Yeah, that for me was so fun. Like I have such happy memories thinking about that channel and what we built on there.
Why did it stop? Was it the whole Tina thing, or the whole?
It was just like, yeah, with all the channels slowing down, we kind of stopped, right? Like it didn't make sense to continue any of that content. At that point, we'd already shut down Tina the Tiger, we'd shut down Unicorn Man, we'd shut down Goldie, which were the 3 side channels we were running at the time because they'd run their course and had been going for a few years. And so everything was kind of, we're like, okay, let's build up the Ryguy brand. And I think everyone at the time, like it was a company I was running with my friends back then. It was not like it is today. And I think it was a fun time, but you know, a company run by friends and a company run by professionals are 2 different things. And there's a reason one's thriving now and that one didn't last very long.
How long did it last exactly? I feel like you said it earlier, but I can't really remember.
2015 to 2019, so about 4 years.
That's still decent. I know it's not like amazing, but it's still all right.
Yeah, no, it was good for what it did. And then this next wave we've been doing in this one for about 5 now, and
it's already doing better.
It's night and day. It's night and day. Yeah.
Your current like Rocky Media, is it a 7-day thing, like the company, or is it a 5-day thing?
Oh, definitely not 7. I mean, okay, it's 7 for me, but it's sort of like, and most creators will understand this. It's just you're on call all the time, right? Like you have to be there in case anything goes wrong, any step of the way to jump in. And that's kind of what I was talking about, where it's a creator-run business, so you're needed in every step. So yeah, right now it's kind of like a 7-day work week, but I'm really good about making sure I take time off every day to make sure I'm having that time. So like I don't let myself once it's like 7 p.m. Central, I don't let myself work past then, you know, so I have time with my fiance at least every night, stuff like that. So like little things like that help really manage that schedule down. It's kind of I'm kind of lucky with the team, because the team has made my life so much easier in managing that time. So I'm trying to think, because like so I'm gonna kind of go back in time here. So when I first started Rocky Media, right, and I talk about the era where it was all these channels, it really was, we were just a group of friends that really didn't know what we were doing making content, right? This new group of people that I've sort of brought into the team are like all YouTube experts, like for lack of a better term, right? And so back then it was like fun and not that's not fun now, but now it's very, very much, it's professional, it's corporate, right? So that's not my style, which is why I feel like I need to take that step back, because it's like it's not my style to be in this corporate setting, even though I built it that way. But that's just because it's the only way it's going to succeed long term. Is having that sort of more corporate structure instead of the other one, which is the creator needs to be involved in everything.
I went to Berlin last week as a getaway with my girlfriend, and so the week before I didn't really have any messages. I had like 1 or 2 from like the people I know. Well, no, I had a few messages, but like just from people I regularly talk to, podcast stuff, all that kind of jazz, right? And it was all right. So I was like, so I said like a tweet about it. I'm on holiday, like I'm going to Berlin, blah blah. It's really beautiful, can't wait, blah, blah, that kind of stuff. I received like double the messages. Some people who I've never talked to in my life messaging me while I'm in Berlin. It's just like, why? why now? So I responded, obviously. Like I took the nighttime when I was in the hotel and just having my downtime, like my little me time. I was just replying to messages, but I was like, seriously, like none of these people have even messaged me this week at all. And it's like, why did you message me when I was on holiday, but you don't message me when I'm actually at home and waiting for it? And then nothing bad, like I know, no hate to them. It's just I just find it funny, like with the whole being on call thing.
It's just the name of the game. same. Like being like, even like I told people like the vacation I was going to post with my fiance. Everyone in my business knew, like, do not contact me. This is my engagement vacation. Like, do not leave me be. It didn't happen. It did not happen. I still took calls, and but it's kind of needed, right? Like in the creator business, the way that most people build it, you have to be on call at all times, and that's why it's just like I need to get the content away from it being me, and it being a bigger thing than me, whatever that looks like. We have several plans we're looking at right now for that. So
did you ever oh sorry, no, not did you ever, I was going to say that your proposal holiday, where was that? Where did you propose?
Jamaica. Yeah, we went to Jamaica.
Oh,
so my favorite Caribbean like country in the world. I know like the US just put a travel alert for going there and being like, oh, it's dangerous. It's fine. It's fine. Just you don't want to be walking around the streets of Jamaica at night, but if you're going during the day, there's tour guide, like you're fine. Like I promise. I've been there 3 times now and I love it. I love Jamaica. It's just such a beautiful country. There's so much to do. The people are super kind. I love it there. And so yeah, I brought my fiance out to Jamaica. It was pretty standard. I made it seem like it was just a vacation, like we were just doing a getaway, because I do those a lot. I like to get away a few times a year. And so I was like, yeah, we're gonna go to the Caribbean. And so I set up this whole like dinner. The waitress had the ring. She slipped it into my hand. It was really cool how we did it. It was right over the water. It was cool. Was it like a big restaurant like where there are other people sitting on the other tables when you proposed? Or? No, it was private. It was a private over the water dinner.
Oh, jeez.
I went all out.
So fair play.
I was planning it for like months leading up to that, and like there was it was so stressful because like the ring didn't show up when I custom ordered it. It didn't show up on time, so I had to quickly go get another ring, and like it was a whole process. So all them 8,100,000 days videos. Look at that. they work.
Fair play though. You worked hard for it, so you deserve to reap the benefits.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, and that goes for any creator, right? Like any creator, like I think it would really surprise people, like the hard work. Like once you put it in for a few years and you come out on that other side, how rewarding it really is like the best part of it. Because like I'll be honest, I spoil myself a little bit, but like I love spoiling my fiance. So like being able to get her nice rings and nice trips and like that, for me, that is so fun and is the ultimate motivator. And like it really adds value to everything I've done for the last decade. Like it really added meaning to every bit of work I put in. And so like I know a lot of today, like you have people who are against hustle culture and all that, but I still think there's some good in it. Like you put in that work up front to reap the rewards down the line. I personally see nothing wrong with that.
I don't see a problem with either, honest. Because I mean, like kind of with like kind of linking back to my thoughts, but my thoughts here is and kind of not fully linking to what you were saying there, but still is like with the whole, like we've kind of talked about earning and stuff here, like, and it's part joke but part serious. It's like as much as some people say they do YouTube for a hobby, and I mean I guess I technically do it for a hobby, I'd love to do it full time. It's not my motivation. And I think like with your content, right, you upload such long videos and you make kid friendly content and all that kind of stuff. Like yeah, money is a motivator, but I can't imagine you're sitting through that every single like month or so, or uploading that regularly, that kind of content just for the money. Like it has to have right. With how passionate you are in videos and stuff, it's clearly a case of not just like money can't be a full motivator there has to be a bit of passion in that as well. So
I think and I think throughout the years that passion changes too, right? Like now I wouldn't say it's like, man, I'm so passionate about playing Minecraft as Spider-Man, right? That's not where the passion's coming in. The passion for me now is the video creation process of being like, this would be a good idea with this packaging and this. It's like that YouTube puzzle of making a good video is what I enjoy. So like I love creating that perfect snowball with all the YouTube pieces.
But it's still passion in the content though, is what the end like thing there is.
Right, like, right. I'm passionate in what I'm producing.
You're not just sitting down and being like, oh yeah, this video is gonna make me so much money and that's the only reason I'm gonna make this video. Like there's still happiness in making a video and that's why you do it, kind of thing.
If people knew what they cost, most videos I'm losing money. So it definitely ain't the money that brings it in.
That's like me as well, I'm paying for stuff and like all this kind of jazz, like commissions and stuff. So I even from the InsideMC channel, I have lost so much money from YouTube. But I think I'm hopefully one day gonna start earning a bit back.
It's the side of YouTube people don't talk about though. Like most YouTube channels don't make money. most are not profitable. That is like a huge misconception that most make money, right? And like luckily because of sponsors and the other sides of my business, we are profitable. But if we didn't have those, yeah, no way.
And that's why like when you look at like thinking like, oh, this channel, they take up so many sponsors sponsorships, like, damn, it's because, like, do people reinvest their AdSense, right? That's what they're doing. They're reinvesting the AdSense and then taking up the sponsorship so they have a bit of their own money. It's like,
that's basically it. Like we basically use 80 to 90% of the AdSense to then make the money on the sponsors later. Like sponsorship revenue tends to be our profit.
It works out for you, so
yeah. Because as long as you bring in, like our goal, we bring in, you know, between 10 to 20 sponsors per year, and that's really all we need in terms of, you know, getting the company in a good profitable position.
Really off topic here, a rough transition because I can't think of a clean way to do it. Are you going to TwitchCon Rotterdam this year?
Probably not. Not. It's not in Vegas this year. I went last year because it was in Vegas, and I shouldn't even say I go to TwitchCon. I did not attend TwitchCon. I was in Las Vegas at the exact same time as TwitchCon, simply because exactly. So my trip was already pre-booked to Las Vegas because it was right after I got engaged. So me and my fiance were like, oh, well, we'll tell her mom in Las Vegas that we're engaged. So we flew her mom out to Las Vegas, and it just so happened that happened to be the week of TwitchCon. So it just that's kind of the only reason I was there this year. But no, I'm not really big in the streaming world. I'm not really big on Twitch. In fact, I'm an open critic of Twitch, so I tend to not get invited to TwitchCon.
Because MCC, here's a transition. MCC Live is happening at Rotterdam, and I was hoping to see you on the live playing, but you're not on the playlist, sadly. So
no. I wouldn't have been able to go to that anyway. Most likely.
No.
When it comes, I mean, like, here's the thing. When it comes to MCC, right? Like, I play in MCC, but like, I'm not one of their big streamers, right? I'm not a streamer. I'm a YouTuber, and so the streaming side is secondary. They kind of just let me keep coming back, I think, because I've been in it since the first one. Like, it's not really a thing where it's like, oh, dude, he's bringing in the viewers. He's been around, so we might as well keep bringing him back once in a while, right? So, like, I always sign up, but most times they don't pick me just because, like I said, I don't have the pull that most of these other streamers have that are younger than me, and plus they're streamers. I'm not. So,
well, I mean, you were in the InsideMC dual MCC participants thing, the same video, and not every MCC participant was in that. So I mean, yeah,
if anything, that makes it official right there.
That makes it official. I was actually going to ask about like tournaments in general because I've only really seen you play MCC. Is tournaments already your thing? Is it just kind of MCC because it's MCC, or?
Yeah, it was just sort of a thing. Scott was running MCC back in the day. Shot into my DMs. He was like, "Hey, I'm launching this event. You want to join?" And I was like, "Sure." Like that was literally the conversation. So I joined, and then it just got so much bigger than I think anyone expected it to get, and so I've just kind of stuck with it because like I'm kind of a data nerd, so like I love seeing the subreddit on MCC just start digging into data, and I love kind of seeing like where I stand in that data, like compared to other players. It's not like I practice, like I don't care to be actually good or anything, but it's just fun to see like where I stand in that match, right? You know what I mean? Like it's a fun little thing. So I don't know. MCC's just I've sort of found fun in MCC through that, but I don't really have time to sign up for a million different events. I've been invited to a bunch. I couldn't even tell you half their names. I remember like apparently one time I said on a live stream I thought I was invited to Block Wars. It was a different one that was similar. Like there's so many out there. I've lost track. I'll be honest with you. The only two that I know with certainty now are Block Wars and MCC, and those are the only two. Like outside that, I'm not too confident on my Minecraft event knowledge.
I'm the player manager for another one called MC Mayhem, which is pretty.
I have heard of that one. I've heard of that.
There's loads. I was saying about it the other day. There's so many different tournaments now. It's hard to keep up, really.
It's like SMPs, man. There's so many SMPs.
Oh my god, no, we're not gonna get into it, but yeah,
there's so many.
It's really pretty with the whole MCC thing, the subreddit. Your answer in for one of the questions when I said about the who is one person you'd add to MCC. If you remember, do you remember your answer for
Wolfie.
that?
I said Wolfie, I think, right?
Yeah, because you see them all over the Reddit. This morning, BST they actually got updated on the TwitchCon site, so they're playing in MCC Rotterdam.
Oh, are they? Oh, that's sweet. See, there we go. I called it. I knew it.
It's really funny because like I uploaded that video like a week ago now, and I think 3 people. So Feinberg was said they're in MCC. Jack Jivok was said they're in the Rotterdam one. Wolfie was said they're in the Rotterdam one. I think Fulham was said they're in the Rotterdam one. It's like it's really interesting how like these names were said, and now like it's cool. I like it. Inside MC seems to always be predicting stuff. Go on, make a prediction and it will come true. Trust me.
I got right now. I'm making a prediction,
even if it benefits you. Go on.
Even if it benefits me. Oh, I was like
anything, and it'll come true because you said it on Inside MC. I'm being dead serious.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Anything I say. Okay, I got it. Your next Inside MC guest is gonna be Mark Cuban.
Oh, okay, but we're gonna have to do it.
I twisted it back to you. Now that's coming true, remember?
No, the issue is I like book podcast guests in advance. So I actually have podcast guests scheduled until like the second week of June. So that's technically, rather than it being like a whole prediction thing, that's sadly technically
not true.
Possible. It just can't be possible, can it? So you have to pick something that isn't already like rigged to be wrong.
Okay. Well, you know,
if you can't, I'm not gonna put you on the spot. It's just if you can think of something. So
I mean, if I honestly could think of anything to happen right now, I could say. I mean, I'd probably say something along the lines of within 3 years, I'll start a travel YouTube channel that'll be at 1 million subscribers. That would be the goal.
And there we go. There's the prediction. Come back to this podcast when Ryguy Travels hits 1 million subscribers.
We're gonna come back. It's gonna be at 4.
Huh?
We're gonna come back. It's gonna be at like 4.
4 million or just 4?
4. It's 4.
I think you have enough pulling power to get more than 4 subscribers. Trust me.
Yeah, no. Well, but I don't promote my channels. I never cross promote.
Yeah, but just the name alone is what I mean. Like,
oh yeah, exactly. People would eventually figure it out.
You have that aura.
I do have a very simple personality, so I get that.
Unless you have anything that you wanted to talk about that I haven't brought up. Is anything I missed that you think I was going to talk about this podcast, or have we done a pretty good job of covering everything?
No, I think we've covered pretty much everything. I mean, we kind of hit a lot of YouTube talk, which is my area, so that makes a lot of sense. You know, I'm kind of like the guy who obsesses over YouTube and analytics. Not that I'm the only one out there, but like it's my whole personality is YouTube, so it kind of makes sense we leaned into it.
Well, before we move on to the outro here, then I do have some Twitter questions, which you're aware of because you quote tweeted the tweet.
I did.
We'll start with ones in response to your quote retweet, which was ask your worst questions.
I did say that. I did tell them to ask the worst one.
Let me think of it. I used to pre-write down questions, but I thought it'd be more fun to like show my live reaction of me scrolling through. A lot of people just like, and we've actually...
A lot of people were like, worst question, huh?
Oh, yeah. We've kind of like the good ones we've actually already asked. Which would pick to do a 100 days, Mario or Eggman? Who? I don't. To rephrase that, would you rather do a 100 days as Mario or 100 days as Eggman? There we go.
Oh, Mario, because I don't even. Are they talking about Eggman from like Sonic?
Yeah.
Oh god, yeah, Mario for sure.
Why?
Well, I mean, okay, my brain instantly goes logic. Just like everyone knows Mario, not everyone's gonna know Eggman.
100 days as Sonic villain. Ooh.
Because I could see Sonic doing well, because I've seen people do it, and I've seen people even do Mario and it do well. But I think it's like if the question was like Mario versus Sonic, we'd have a closer comparison here. But because it's like Mario versus Eggman, it's like, oh, that's easy. I'll pick Mario, right? It's sort of like if I was doing a 100-day Naruto video, I wouldn't do randomly like 100-day Akatsuki, if anyone knows what that is. I might have just totally geeked out a second there, but
I have no clue. But I'm sure people will, but I don't. Sorry.
It's all good. I'm sure someone out there will get it because spoiler, that's an upcoming video.
I was about to suggest.
I've already been leaking that online, so that's not too big of a spoiler.
When's that coming out?
I'd have to check Notion, but probably June would be my guess. June or July. That's one of our biggest videos we're making. Like we're spending a ton of time on that one to make it like perfect. We have like models for every single Naruto fans will know what I'm saying here. Every single Jinchuriki in the universe, we've now built them out. So it's really crazy. We're going all out with this video.
I was gonna suggest, because my favorite TV show is The Walking Dead. I was gonna suggest you do 100 days in a zombie apocalypse until I checked, and you've already done it 2 years ago.
I was like, I'm already on top of that one. Yep, that one just makes sense, right? Because surviving 100 days in a zombie apocalypse. I think I've actually done that one a few times. I've done zombie apocalypse videos a bunch, like and they all do well. I mean, yeah. Looking back, I survived 100 days as a zombie apocalypse, got 2 million views in 2 years. I survived 100 days as a zombie, got 1.7 mil, and then back when I did role plays, I did a zombie apocalypse Minecraft daycare episode that got 700k, one in Academy that got 200k, and then one where it was daycare again, got 2.4 mil. So zombie apocalypses I have rinsed and repeated for years.
I have a video idea for you.
Hit me with it.
Let me check if you've done it. So you're American, so I'll say it in American form. I survived 100 days as a soccer player.
That would just be hard. It'd be so hard to...
Well, it'd just be like you climbing through the ranks and playing for different teams, right? It'd just be like you start off as this team, and then it's like, oh look, this team wants to buy me, and like then you move there, and they're like, oh, I've had a falling out, and then I've called being called up for international duty, and then it ends with you like winning the World Cup on day 100.
Stuff like that would be really cool. The hardest part is getting the physics of a ball to work in Minecraft, to be honest, and make it good, right? Because you have to make it like interesting.
Yeah.
And so
true.
when I hear ideas, like, I have to think of like, okay, soccer player. What are like how we normally is like I'd have a whiteboard and I'd write down soccer player, and I'd be like, okay, now what are some things in a like that represents a soccer player that we could throw into our video? Obviously, like we want them to play the game soccer. We want them to, you know, go through we can take the trading aspects within the teams. We can take all that, kind of pool it together, and then we'll start kind of piecing, you know, what's the most important thing, which would obviously be the games and scoring, and start piecing together the video like that. So for me, it's just like when I hear that, there is, because it's a sport, I avoid sports content for that reason, because it's so hard to recreate in game and make it good. The best I've ever been able to do is we got a ball, you can right click and bounce off walls, and as long as it hits your character, it pops in your inventory and you catch it. Like that's we've modded with sports and stuff before. It is one of the most complex things you could to code into the game.
What can I do instead then?
I instantly think like, so if you were to make that work, you'd I mean, okay, if someone had unlimited fun, they could make that work and make it incredible. You mix like almost like the team. I believe FIFA has a team building mode, right?
Yeah, career mode.
So same exact thing. You take like the team building from like FIFA, mix that into the game, mix the soccer stuff into the game, mix the actual like the gameplay. You can do stands, you can do arenas, stuff like that. If you can get all that working and make it play like a franchise, like League or something like that, I think you could make the video work, but you'd be spending like probably like $30,000 just to get that video off the ground. So it'd be a hefty amount just to get one video up.
I mean, have you ever done like, this is a bit more of a basic one, it's kind of a downgrade from my original idea. Like I survived 100 days as a store manager. I don't know, maybe it could work.
I don't know many kids that would click that, but
like, it makes the role play, wouldn't it? It makes the role play into your 100 days.
Correct, it would. And like some ideas, like our rule of thumb is like 1 to 2 words, but it also has to be something where we can like visualize a thumbnail up front. Because like for me, I'm like store manager. What do I do? Show them like stacking shelves. You know what I mean? So I'm like, it has to have like actionable like thumbnail. So like a great example of that was like Cloud. It was an idea we were gonna scrap because we couldn't think of a thumbnail, but then we finally came up with one, and that video ended up like bang. It did really good for us, at least compared to where our videos have been lately.
That's crazy that you're just gonna scrap an entire video based on not being able to make a thumbnail.
Yeah, I mean it happened. Like because
I'm just saying, not crazy in a bad way. Sorry, I want to be clear when I say that.
Yeah, no, I don't see it as a bad thing. I mean, like, it's just some thumbnails just never get to a point where they're good enough. Like right now, we're struggling with our video that's coming out. Not uploading this Saturday. We're uploading next Saturday. We're just taking a week off because we've kind of cooked our audience with a lot of content lately between sponsors and regular stuff. So we just want to give them a week off. But that video we are launching next week is I'll be blunt. It's 100 Days as a Chef, and it's very difficult because we're trying to get that thumbnail right. We're trying to incorporate like Gordon Ramsay into it, and so we're going through the process now. But I'll be honest, this one's tough, and it's definitely getting close to that chopping block. So it's just the way it works sometimes, because I don't know, videos without good packaging can kill a video. Like one of our videos, 100 Days of Skeleton Dragon, only has 1.1 mil in 3 weeks, but you know I expected that one to do a lot better, and I think we're going to repackage it as Bone Dragon, redo the packaging, and I think we're going to see a pretty big uptick in views.
Every single idea like I think of this could be cool. Like I survived 100 days as a wizard. You've already done. I'm trying to think of something that'd be like a standout idea, but like
I've milked it into the floor. Good luck. Dude, we brainstorming sessions, we used to be able to come up with 100 things in an hour easy. Now we're talking like we struggle to come up with 10. So it's getting harder as time is going on, because we've done, like you said, everything. We've done wizard, we've done hacker, I've done magician, like a gladiator, a potato, right? Like you name it, we've probably done it at this point, especially if it's pop culture related.
I survived 100 days in Fallout.
Now that's one I have not done. We have thought about doing I survived 100 days in a vault, like and make it seem like Fallout. Some people have already done that, and they've gotten actually they've gotten millions of views on it, which is cool. So I do think that there is potential there, especially with the Fallout series that just released. But at this point, since that series is kind of come and gone, we would time that around a season 2 launch of the show if we were to do something like that. Sort of like, you know, we timed our recent release of Avatar around the release of the Avatar show.
Same way I like timed my MCC video as soon as like the first batch of teams got released. Like I waited to upload it. So
yep, exactly. When there's hype around it to just increase viewership to the best of your ability.
My final one would be I survived 100 days in Breaking Bad.
Now that's one. Okay, I genuinely have thought thought about that one because I genuinely think it would be a good video. Like, okay, and this isn't my channel, so I can be open about this. We genuinely thought about doing like you could do a whole video of like working up the drug trade and like going that route of like building an empire of like of all the different bunch of different drugs. We went down that rabbit hole of like making a video like that, but we could never release it. It's more of an idea we joke about behind the scenes is like something that would actually probably do good, but we just don't have the audience for it.
Lawyer,
like, a lawyer.
I survived 100 days as a lawyer. You haven't done that.
I haven't done lawyer. That is a job we haven't done. There you go. You found one. You found one we hadn't done yet.
I want half the revenue from your 40 grand that you made.
Yeah.
Right, I'm good.
Oh, no, 100 days lawyer. I'm looking at it to see if anyone's done it. No one's even done it. So we have to do some market research on it. It's wide open.
Yes. Oh my god. Like, get me as a part of the team. I can help draft ideas. Give me enough time and I can bring up some pretty bang ideas.
He's like, I got the bangers ready. Honestly, it is funny. Most of my ideas nowadays are from GPT because like we are so dry on ideas. I'll just be like, note 100 ideas and then I'll just start modifying them. And that's how we get our ideas lately.
That's how I got my the title idea was I asked I was in a call with someone called Potato Pie and we were just sitting there and was like, you know what, let's just see what he gives us. And he gave us like a really good title. I was like, this isn't perfect, so let me alter it a little bit. And that's how I got, do all speedrunners how do speedrunners compare themselves? I was like, oh my god, this is cooked. It's
a good title too, because like I said, anything that inspires curiosity on like how another group thinks or what another group is, like kind of how they reason or like logic things out. Those are always going to do good because you'll be curious, right? Like as someone who doesn't play speedrunning Minecraft, I watch a lot of speedrunning Minecraft content because I don't understand that side of things, right? Which I think is kind of fun. I don't think speedrunners watch a lot of speedrunning content. I'd be willing to bet that, in fact. Unless they're studying, that's different.
But you watch it because that's something that you enjoy from the outside, same as me. I don't speedrun, but I love speedrunning.
Yeah, I do not have the patience to do it, but I love watching people push the boundaries of the game and do it anyway.
Back to the Twitter questions. There wasn't really any good ones onto your ones, so we'll go on to my one here.
Okay, what do we got?
I was going to say, this one's from EthoBot. Why are you so good looking?
Oh, Etho. Okay. Me and Etho are good friends, so Etho is a great friend of mine. Etho, you're better looking. Boom. There you go. But no, me and Etho are good friends, so we're just, it's funny he asked that. For those that don't know EthoBot is a Minecraft blockbuster creator, so he works with Blockbuster Mod. He creates some really cool shorts, but what makes his stuff really unique is he's built like, similar to what we did in the past, like I brought up all our characters, like he's built such a lovable character that people have fallen in love with and characters that they've fallen in love with that he's been able to convert it into something that I don't see anyone else successfully really do, is they've converted short form to long form very successfully.
Fair enough. But I mean, so why are you so good looking? Or how are you so good looking?
I don't agree. So that's my answer. I like how you brought it back. You're like, you're not getting out of this one.
No, I mean, I know we haven't really interacted too much, but I can appreciate. I think you're good looking. I agree with EthoBot here.
I appreciate
without
that.
making it awkward there. Sorry.
I like, because like I think the thing is like I've never really looked at myself as like attractive. It's really like, and I don't think a lot of people do, or maybe I'm wrong on that, but like because everyone's everyone's their own biggest critic. So I guess I've just never really looked at it that way. But like, I mean, hey, if that's what people see, great. I'm glad I'm attractive, I guess.
Back to the whole not having an ego thing, is why you think that.
Oh yeah,
learning from mistakes. The next one comes from Caleb, Ghost Boy Chill. What is your favorite series of fan art? Like they gave examples: live fan art, daycare fan art. Yeah. Like what one?
So probably back in the day when I had this show called Minecraft Life, the fan art for that was just the best. So that show was made for an older demographic, and it definitely showed like the people that watched that were obviously a little older. The fan art we were getting was like extremely high quality, because like when they bring up the other shows, most of the art we got were scribbles on a paper from kids, like 99% of it. Like there were some good ones that we got, don't get me wrong, and we used to showcase it in videos, but some of the stuff we got for Minecraft Life looked like it was done by professionals. Like I would get like full-on portrait of something that looks like it was someone paid $200 for it, and I was like, someone just drew this for fun. Like they're drawing like battles from our universe. Like there was one that stands out to me. It's a Minecraft Life drawing of my character shooting fire out of his hand, another character shooting water out of their hand. It's clashing in the middle, making this steam. It was one of the coolest fan arts I'd ever seen. So for me, it's Minecraft Life, and I think it's just because like that show resonated with just like an older group of people who were like really into like art, anime, and that sort of like general market niche area.
Next one comes from Aaron is P Cool, making a return question in yet another Twitter question. Is your favorite ice cream Rocky Road?
No, I actually don't like Rocky Road. Yeah, not even a fan of it. I'm honestly, I'm the most boring ice cream person in the world. I recently started liking mint chocolate chip ice cream. Like that's a new revelation. I'm really basic. I like vanilla. I like chocolate. I like coffee ice cream. Like I don't like a million toppings. I don't want sprinkles. I don't want candy on my ice cream. I don't want any of that. I just want like a single flavor that's solid. And, like I don't want a million things in it. I'm not like it. Like Ben and Jerry's, like I love their ice cream, but like some of their ice creams have so much stuff in them that I'm like, I'm just eating like junk. Like it's not even just I get ice cream's junk food, but like when it's ice cream with brownies and cookies and caramel and all this stuff, I'm like, at this point, well, I'm eating a full on like sugar soup. You know what I mean? It's just different.
I didn't even ask like how you got the name Ryguyrocky. It just completely slipped my mind. So an Insane Orbit's Twitter question here. How did the name Ryguyrocky come to be?
So okay, there's kind of two places. The Ryguy is pretty straightforward. It's a play off my name, Ryguy Ryan. It's kind of like a nickname that came with it. Growing up, like off and on, people would always be like, "Hey, Ryguy," real fast. It was just a thing family did. So that's where that came from. The Rocky side of it comes from two different areas. One, when I came up with the name, I was at a rock climbing facility when I did. So Rocky just kind of fit because I was like, it has to be RR was what I was looking for. So I knew I wanted Ryguy, and I was like, what's that second piece? So I'm at a rock climbing facility. So Rocky kind of came to my mind. And for years, I could never remember the name of the character and why I called it Rocky. But there was a character I remembered from my childhood who was like this firefighter with like big feet. And this is, I just remember his feet for some reason. It was a toy, and his name was Rocky. And for years, I never found this toy, but really recently on TikTok again, I saw an ad or a video with it, and I was like, it does exist. But it's like a combination of Ryguy meets a childhood toy of mine, whose name was Rocky, and then combine them and you get my name.
I thought you named yourself after Rocky Balboa.
No, a lot of people think that though.
Ryguy boxing.
Yeah, no, it's not happening. Not happening. 100 Days is a boxer though.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Why did you have to say it? I was googling, I was YouTubing to make sure you hadn't already done it. No, I'm cutting out where you say that. And I'm taking full credit. Right,
you're mad because I stole it right out of your mouth.
No, it's mutual agreement. There you go. You've gotten 2 video ideas from me. You're so welcome.
Perfect. And I won't lie, the boxer one's actually really good. That's one where I'm like, oh, that might actually be good enough to make it on the channel.
I was searching it up to see if you bloody had done it, and you shouted it out loud.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a really good one. I can think of a good thumbnail too for that. So that one's good.
I can actually think of a good thumbnail as well. Do you want to hear it on the podcast or?
Hit me with it. Might as well.
So day 1, it's like you kind of like all shriveled up and like I'm not really bloody per se, but like kind of beating up. I like more so like just like weak and kind of beating up. And then like day 100, you're like this really strong buff guy with like these nice red boxing gloves and like a black belt or whatever.
I mean, I'm kind of in the same ballpark. I just see like a little kid with big boxing gloves on, kind of like crying, like he's like. I'm all beat up, has a black eye, and then day 100 is him in the ring, like with his fist extended, like throwing a punch with that red glove. So it has kind of like an action shot to it. That's kind of what I picture.
I forget your podcast idea. I forgot your thumbnail ideas go from like small kid to like large adult. That's why I said the shriveled up thing of like someone going from like really weak and kind of beating up to really strong.
Well, that's why we do the kid, because it just showcases that the best, right? It shows it better than anything else, right? Because we used to do it where we didn't do kid to growth. We used to do just regular into buff, but we found that did worse than just like making it a kid, because making it a kid makes it seem like
did it?
No, it didn't do as well, exactly, where these new ones get the picture across way better.
So, I can kind of see it, yeah, like with your like, I guess the polar bear one, right? It's like just a normal polar bear into like an adult, like a walking polar bear, and it's like, like I get the idea, but I mean it's kind of just you kind of the same thing. You've just become tall for some bizarre reason.
Yep, exactly. That was the era where that, I will say, that's a thumbnail that is abysmal, but
I mean it's not too late to change it.
I should probably go back and change that one. Looking at it, oh my god, it's so bad.
But there's a few. I mean, even like the raft one, I feel like that, like with how your thumbnails look now, I reckon you could probably go back and change a few old ones to make them as good as your new ones, because they're kind of like your older thumbnails from like 2 years ago, they're quite dark as opposed to your like really bright colorful ones now.
Yeah, I think because these were like earlier, like raft I probably wouldn't do just because it's like a video that doesn't meet my current style, whereas like polar bear I could probably adjust that one and get it some extra viewership.
Yeah, so oh my god, am I a YouTube guru?
Time to set up a calendar and get people scheduled.
The next one comes from I had it, where'd it go? Oh no, I scrolled by accident. Actually, I think that might be it. There's like a few questions of like, where's the roleplay channel? But
yeah,
here's a funny one for you. Oh yeah, go and answer that one. No, you go. What you saying now?
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, I was gonna say the reason there's a lot about the role plays. It's sort of like you were saying how people still call you the kind of the command block guy.
Yeah.
I did it for so long. We got 700 million views on roleplay. So you're just gonna have people that always are gonna ask, when's it coming back? When are you doing more? When are you like? And unfortunately, the answer is we're not. We're not, right? Like it's over. It's ran its course, and like I mean, not that you were asking for my age, but I'm 28, right? Like
I
can't
from your age, from the
I can't pretend to be a kid, right? Like, because in these roleplay videos, I'm role playing as a kid, and it's just like when I was like 18, 19, 20, that's fine. I'm 28 now. Like it's hard to do that for long periods of time. It's also horrid for my throat because I have to make my voice higher pitched and all this stuff, which I used to do back then, and it was not fun. Where like 100-day content, it's kind of like, what do I want to build? Like, and that's why it's more like I see it almost like a Lego set. You know, it's like what am I building for this video?
100 days as a husband.
That's how I'm gonna clickbait my wedding video. Get people to actually watch it.
or you could clickbait it. My girlfriend gets married to a worm. Sorry, I searched up what a Ryguy husband just to make sure you hadn't done it, and there's just a Roblox video from 3 years ago. Not calling you a worm there, so I realized that comes off as like really bad. Oh god, sorry, I'm not calling you a worm. I've just realized what I've done. That's a title from one of your old videos that I've stolen. So
it sounds like an old video, like because we did it like husband, wife. Like I'm not surprised. That sounds like whatever. Oh, is that the Roblox one?
Yeah.
I do remember that one. That was honestly that was funny.
The final question here, and it's kind of like I'm asking this in like a silly sense because you know I'm right over it, but I'm asking it. It's from Iridescent Lorraine. You know I'm on about you. You follow the podcast account, so you know you should. Do you still fake your 100 days videos?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I do. I was expecting this much sooner, to be honest, because like this is the question I get more than anything is like, is your content real or fake? It's fake. Like it's 100% fake, right? So
I mean, yeah, we went over it. I just thought it'd be funny to ask again.
Yeah, I'm just gonna more go in depth, I guess. On like
please. Right? I'm just
like,
saying, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, it's more so like we fake it in a way that is gonna maximize viewership, right? So like I'm not gonna spend if one of my upgrades, because luckily the best thing is we dictate what we do in the video through our mod, right? Because the mod is how I upgrade. We set the cost. That cost is the video. So to some degree we can set it, but like let's say one of the costs is like mine 500 obsidian. Well, it takes 10 seconds to mine one obsidian with a diamond pickaxe. So you can kind of do the math on how long it's going to take to do that. You can then skip some days, and instead of actually mining it, you give yourself the items and you just save that time and got the exact same result without wasting time, right? Yeah. So that's how we do it, right? We calculate some stuff you have to estimate, but we calculate relatively what it's going to take in time to do that, and that's how we choose what to skip out. And if it's a boring part that we know won't make the edit anyway, in our opinion, we see it as why waste our time, because we wouldn't be able to get videos out like we do, although it allows us to keep up with our schedule that we've set for ourselves, and get that content out in a reasonable amount of time, still make it good, right? And make sure all those other bits, because like the other thing I hear a lot is, you know, the side of our videos, you know, is any of it real? Which some of it is real. Like a lot of the fight scenes we do are completely real. If I die in the fight scene, we end the video, or we reset, right, the video. And so we like to do a lot of like those and make the fight scenes legitimate. Like the video could end here, and that's kind of the stakes. Is so we do set stakes. They're just not always as hard as we're making them out to be. That's kind of how I like to word it.
I mean, I kind of like not get distracted easily, but if like I had to mine like 100 obsidian, right, I'd kind of do like 50, then kind of jump around for a bit, kind of thing. And if it was legitimate, that's like 2-3 Minecraft days gone because I'm just zoning out or like being silly, go and doing other stuff. Right. And it's like to actually keep it. I mean, right, it's gonna sound so weird, but it's gonna make sense. And I've said that a few times this podcast, but it's my way of covering myself in case I say something absolutely stupid. It's like faking it also, like if you fake the video, it also gives it a sense of realism, as in like with the whole obsidian mining thing, if you calculate how long it's going to take to mine 100 obsidian, if you fake it, then it's going to be the perfect amount of time for you to mine obsidian, rather than if you actually mined 100 obsidian and kept getting sidetracked or couldn't be bothered or accidentally zoned out and like hit off the block or whatever. Like the faking it makes it a bit more realistic than it would be if like you actually did it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's almost like the fake timing makes it more accurate to what it would really be.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, but it's better than I did. Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's kind of how we view it too, and like it allows us to put out content weekly. And if I didn't, I couldn't have employees, and I couldn't make these videos. So it's a cycle where like if people want the 100 days, this is how we're gonna do.
I mean, listeners, would you rather spend 10 hours mining 100 obsidian, or would you rather spend 30 minutes calculating how long it'd take to mine 1,000 obsidian, and then saving 9.5 hours, and then working on a video for 9.5 hours that you would have actually spent mining 1,000 obsidian? There you go.
Exactly. So that's where it comes from. So it's like, most people, I think most people know they're fake, because like if you watch my live streams, like I'm so open about it. I've never, like, if anyone who's asked, I'm always like, yeah, we staged, like we've never hit it. And in fact, if you go back, there's even some 100 days where we've died in the video and just rewinded in the edit and made myself alive again. Like I fell off a cliff, I hit the ground, and then the editors just rewind it back to where I was, and they're like, and then just continue as if nothing happened, right? Like we don't even always hide that we die and lose in these videos. It's just because for us, it's more about the video. It's meant to be a fun, enjoyable time, not about being like this hardcore Minecraft challenge, which is also why I'm very careful not to put hardcore anywhere near my videos, because I feel like at that point I'm making it a challenge at that point that it's not. So that's why we also don't do that like every other 100-day YouTuber.
That is the I've completely lost my trace of thought there. I was about to make a joke and I've just lost it. I'm actually really sad. Oh no. And this is staying in. I'm not cutting this out. I'm actually really sad. I was about to make a good joke, and and maybe it wasn't good. If my brain has told me to just instantly forget about it, then clearly it was a bad joke. But I'm really sad, so I was gonna say it. Unfortunate. There's something about the whole 100 days thing, but it's lost. Oh well, it's fine.
Gone in the wind.
I'm gonna ask a question, and it's always kind of confused me. So it's actually a genuine question, funny enough. When people say 100 days, right? Is it 100 Minecraft days, or is it 100 IRL days? Because if it's 100 IRL days, then they're very clearly fake. So is it meant to be 100 Minecraft days?
Yeah, it's Minecraft days, which a Minecraft day is 20 minutes, or if you sleep in a bed, it's 10. You can cut it in half, which is why I said it's anywhere from like 16 hours to 33 hours, depending on if you're sleeping in beds and stuff, in that range. And that there are so many different ways people play the challenge. Like some people say you can't use beds, some people say you can. So we make our own rules and we just play by our rules.
Because I used to think it was IRL days. So when people was like, "Oh, is it fake?" I used to think it's clearly fake. They upload like once a month. How's it going to be 100?
They're doing a 100-day video every week. Like what?
Yeah, like it's clearly fake. What are you on about? And then someone turned around and said like it's Minecraft days, and I was like, oh, that would make more sense. That makes
because you could theoretically do one per week legitimately if you allowed for sleeping in beds, because that's only about 16 hours of recording. But it would be like the pipeline for that would be brutal, because you're not just filming, you have to get ahead for your editors and everything. So that would be awful if you had to do that legitimately. Which there are some that do it. Shout out SB737. He does it legit.
Oh shit, fair play. I think there's like other people who do it legit as well.
There's
it's just hard to distinguish nowadays, I guess. But that's not a problem. I don't think it's a problem.
No, it's no problem either way. I just view it as like I have a lot of respect for SB, who did it legit for a long time when no one else would. Everyone else was faking it, and then he kind of got caught up in the thing of being like, oh well, he has to be faking it, but he was the one guy not faking it. So I was like, no, he's the one good one, I promise.
It's a bit like the hardcore world. Do you use a totem or not use a totem kind of thing? It's just down to how you feel about playing. No, but I mean, a lot of people believe like, oh, if it's really hardcore world, you shouldn't use a totem. But it's like, I mean, it's still hardcore. Like, you just play how you want, kind of like you make the 100 days videos how you want.
Exactly. It's like, it's my video, it's my rules. If you don't like my rules, you don't gotta watch. Simple as that.
And the joke isn't that funny anymore. But when you said about the whole rewinding and dying things, it came back into my head. I was gonna make the joke of, oh, look, it's the 100 days as a time traveler. But then it's
well, I think it's funny, but
I mean, it would have been funny in the moment.
I actually genuinely am excited. I want to do that idea so bad now.
I have given you like 3 or 4 video ideas this podcast, and they've all been on the spot.
I'm gonna get a consulting bill in the mail.
No, I won't charge you. You come on my podcast for free. I'm not gonna get you to pay me. I've taken enough time out of your day for completely free. It's the least I can do for you to, help boost it. Helping smaller creators where I go is what I'm doing here. So.
I appreciate it. Smaller creators really need the help right now. So.
With that being said, then that sadly brings the end of this week's InsideMC.
Oh dang! Well, thanks for having me, man. I actually really appreciate it.
No worries. Before we do end though, and on the topic of helping smaller creators, I always like to give the outro for you to promote yourself. Sorry.
I gotta get plug-in. Gotta get that plug-in. YouTube.com/Ryguy Rocky.
Everywhere. By the way, promote everywhere.
Oh, everywhere. Oh, not just YouTube. We're
not
talking
just
my
YouTube.
Instagram.
Anything, within reason. All right, anything within
Oh, well,
reason
I
that you
mean,
want to promote.
follow my I'm kidding. Follow my Instagram is at Ryguyrocky. That's honestly what I should be plugging, because like, you know, I'll be honest, I don't care if you go watch my YouTube channel. It's not for everybody. It's honestly leaned towards the younger demographic right now, so it's not for everyone who's probably watching. But if you're into want to learn a thing about YouTube, great videos to analyze and study. And then if you just kind of want more insight into my life, Instagram or Twitter. And then depending on which Twitter, if you're into YouTube, follow my YouTube Twitter. And if you just want regular old post, you can follow my main one.
No, you had an Optifine.
I do.
Sorry, no, the joke was because you said like, oh, yeah, Optifine.
Oh, that went over my head. I was like, I do. I was like, I thought you meant like I had an Optifine cape. I'm like, is that something they still do? Is Optifine capes?
No, it's just yeah.
That went over my head so hard, that joke.
Well, it's been a long recording. I mean, we've been sitting here talking for 2 hours and 40 minutes. So, you know,
let's go.
I can understand why certain things might be a bit like out of brain length now. But yeah, thank you for coming on, Ryguy. You've been an amazing guest, and it was truly an honor to sit down with you. So thank you for taking time out of your day, because I know you're very busy also. So I appreciate it a bunch. And
awesome, thank you.
I hope you listeners enjoyed. Thank you all for listening, or if you're on YouTube and decided to watch 2 hours 40 minutes of an animation loop, thank you all for watching as well. Stay safe, don't eat too much bread. Pieces.